All right, welcome back to the Resonant State, America's most popular podcast. Getting there. All right, and we're continuing again here on this fascinating journey, joined by Mr. Sean McCann with a Swapcast on Wake the Dead, and Mr. William Ramsey, of course, from William Ramsey Investigates. And I'll just do a little recap in this journey. We started out um, pre Charlie Kirk, pre Kirkian America, and we were just primarily looking at the movie The Manchurian Candidate. And then we have progressed thus far into this document, which is revelatory of, I think, to me, is pretty compelling in that this shows that these plans and programs were being implemented, including the infrastructure. There was not even in World War II. There was no OSS even, right? There was no CIA. There was none of that existed. Okay. You had military, naval intelligence, I'm sure, army intelligence, whatever, but there was no CIA. There was no OSS. And everyone says, oh, CIA, Project Mockingbird. No, this is the inception with involuntary permanent subjects. What does a permanent subject mean? All right. Um, and one last thing, I just throw this out there just because I kind of went on I'm trying to recover from my deep dive into Russ Didzar, who's just down, well, would have been just down the road for me here in Ohio. And another guy, Wilfred Wong, right? And he is the number one investigator of SRA in England, as Russ Dizdar was, in the United States. And the one thing that is, two things are pretty compelling. Both of them independently came to the conclusion that this is, in a sense, a movement towards a infiltration and a takeover with many, many cells. And Dizdar says the number, so the MPD, DID, whatever you choose to call it, is, well, according to him, is 99% of the time an offshoot. It's part of SRA. It is a emanation of SRA, and he's talking about 3 generations of this, so upwards of 10 million possible in the United States. And I'm throwing that out as looking at these mass shootings, right? We were going through like the number of mass shootings, which occasionally now doesn't even get on the friggin' news. I don't think frig is swear, is it? Like frigate ship. But but
we are on YouTube though. So.
But a fine line.
But anyways, these guys were, and you have to say that, like, I mean, Dizdar was very hardcore, like right in the real deal stuff. And the way he talks about this, here's the one thing is that you see that this stuff is completely out of the news, right? You don't hear about any of these except for, we talked about the Hosanna scandal, but basically there's, and the police are trained not to bring up any ritualistic aspects. Do not mention it. Like, as Russ Dizdar says, Dahmer had a bone satanic shrine with a power cone made of human skulls. So, this has been an aspect in many, many of these cases. And I mean, it is, hopefully it's not correct. If it is, then but anyways, it's really scary. But the other thing is that, and this is what, one last thing I'll say is that the covering up of these crimes, it's Wilfred Wong. So both of them off the grid or off the map. Wilfred Wong arrested, jailed for 17 years for rescuing a girl from foster care that was being sexually abused by her father, and they had all the testimony, and the courts were going to give her back to her father. 17 years in jail, plus an additional 2 for something or other. So he's off the map, like he's gone. And Russ Dizdar, who, seemed relatively healthy, 65 years old, just drops dead.
And his wife.
And his wife 2 weeks later.
Right.
So
it was during COVID. They put them on the freaking breathing apparatus and they died, just like Rob Skiba. To me, they were all murdered. It was just covered up. It was murder by a hospital.
I agree.
So, yeah. I mean, the people knew. Like the stats that were out there were like, if you go on the respirator, like 80% of the people don't come off. You're gone. So,
and we talked about who works at the hospitals Who works in the local PTA, like these people, the 10,000 sleeper cells or whatever that Russ Dizdar was talking about are all infiltrated into all these pieces of society, parts of society where they are directing, they're doing their orders. Anyway, please continue, Hans.
Well, no, I mean, and that's one thing that Wilfred Wong was talking about is he said he started this, he's done this for like 30 years, right? Kind of just like this. So he said, there was a BBC documentary in the early 90s. There were squads, the social services were part of it. Now it's completely reversed. And even judges who are directly tied to occult circles and satanic circles are judging these cases, and the police infiltrated. You have the social services completely infiltrated, right? And one thing Dizdar talks about is these particular demonic summonings for invisibility, for darkness, for being hidden. And this is very, very common. Again, plus the level of infiltration, because they were doing something about this in the 90s and it was getting out there, right? At least to a certain extent. Now, you know what I mean? But why is that? And has it really gone down, or are we looking at it's just so interpenetrated that it's invisible?
Very good question. Yeah.
Yeah, well, why don't we know? Why is it satanic panic? Why did Gunderson, who was like around McMartin, where there's supposedly ritualistic sex abuse and animal sacrifices, say that Ken Lanning, in my opinion, other than Satanists Aleister Crowley, Anton LaVey, and Michael Aquino, Ken Lanning is probably the most effective and foremost speaker for the satanic movement in this country today or any time in the past. That's the naysayer from the FBI. It's a direct quote. I'm going to bring it up. Watch this. Look at this. This is from the Franklin's cover-up or whatever.
And the finders disappeared. Like who swapped that, pushed that under the rug? Like
Friends of Animals.
Things. Right. Yeah. Right. Them too. Right. The Scientologists down there, the best friends or whatever. But I mean, like these people are. It is penetrated all parts. Like where's Jeffrey Epstein list? Like. The highest part of government's like, oh yeah, that's fake news, guys. Don't look there. I mean, so really, like, it's just more evidence. The more we see all this crap. Like,
we talked about Eberly. If you remember, Sean, you were reading that from the intro to Program to Kill about these guys, and Lanning and these guys are covering it up. McMartin case, all these guys. There's no such thing as satanic ritual abuse. It's all been proven fake. It's not. It's totally lying.
Meanwhile, in Utah, they've got these real cases, and which actually didn't. The Utah case got disappeared too. The prosecutor quit all of a sudden, and then they don't have a prosecutor so they let the guy go. This what's his name? Starts with not Heuermann, but I thought it was started with an H. But anyway, that guy was satanic ritual abuse perpetrator, and sorry, we don't have anybody to prosecute him. Just let him go. Like, what the hell, dude? That's not justice at all. And it's obviously like built that way. The whole system is built for that,
Yeah. Well, and then, you have all these different cartels, and you have Guatemalans, Hondurans. And what I learned from Dizdar is that there's all these other kind of cultic voodoo type of religions that are also very powerful, some of which are more powerful than voodoo, right? And these are, I forget, like Paulo Gris or whatever, and some other, other ones. So all these different groups and circles have their own demonic type of summoning ritual spell. And then you tie that in with the SRA and also installing these types of energies into some of these multiple segments. So anyways, I'll leave that there. But yeah, it's just, who knows, man? But unfortunately, I mean, I wish we were living in the land, everything was great, and, milk and honey was flowing from the sky, and, inflation, like I'm seeing like inflation. It's like, dude, it's like pretty soon I'm going to start eating I'm going to become a cardboarditarian because this food is so damn expensive.
Right. Really. It's interesting because I just did a show with Rise to Liberty, and I mentioned one of these, I've read so many West Memphis 3 files, satanic ritual abuse type stuff. Satanic occult crime, I guess is the way to put it. But there was one in the case files from it. The crime happened in May 1993. It was from January 93, where the guy diagnosed Eccles with amnesia and dissociative states. Like, this is incredible. And he doesn't remember when he started drinking blood. So he said during that time he was 18. He said he started when he was 10 or 11. So that means like he had amnesia for some reason or other. Like, and then you watch him and you're like, why are you in public? Like, how can you get away with it? Like, how can you manipulate all these people without this kind of like self-reference? And then I see Eccles in a different light now that I know all this stuff.
Exactly.
That's
like
really
what
foul.
Russ was saying. 90% of all MPD, DID is results of this type of grok breaking the clown type of treatment, so, and what was Damien's dad all about? And what was that? What's going on there? And you know what I mean? Like
the mom never worked. Like, there's just so
right.
many things about them. Like,
The
and there was
chemicals
literally
thing.
there was a murder that happened the same year in '93 where they were out like at a bonfire in the middle of the night. Like, what the heck's going on? You know?
Right.
Like, why are you doing that? Like, it's crazy. Let me see if I can find this. I don't know.
And if you read Crowley's, I mean, like if you read your book to learn about it, William, but Crowley said the 8-year-old boy is the best sacrifice. You know what I mean? They got 3 of them right before Beltane on a full moon, and they submerge it in the water. They eviscerate one of their penises. They got them bound, and I mean, it's like as occult as it gets, and everybody's like, "Where's the occult? What are you talking about? They're wearing black shirts. They're like Metallica, right? Okay."
Right, here's the individual progress. I mean, this is all kind of SRA overlap type stuff. Individual progress report, Damien Eccles, January 25th, 93. Focus of today's session spent talking with Damien about his feelings of death. He brought with him to session a poem he had written during the past week. Theme of this poem centered around death and power. This is in the court records. You can read this. Damien explained that he explained his power by drinking blood of others. He typically drinks the blood of a sexual partner or a ruling partner. This is achieved by budding or cutting. He states it makes him feel like a god. This is current themes of Satanism. Damien describes drinking blood giving more power and strength. He remembers doing this as far back as age 10. He does not remember where he learned to do this. This is like amnesia. He believes there's no God. He believes that society believes there's a God because society is weak. He wants to be all powerful. There's a spirit inside him. Oh, sorry. He discussed how some of this is related to his experiences as a child. He acknowledges that some of this is related to his childhood abuse, trauma. This is like child ritual abuse. Wow. They're admitting it right here. He's admitting it. The spirit was put inside him last year. So this is like a double personality thing, right? Indicate that a month ago, the spirit decided to be part of him. When questioned how he feels about the spirit, what the difference is, he's able to relate. He feels stronger, more powerful with the spirit. He has not seen the spirit, but he does have this. In addition, he reports conversations with demons and other spirits. This is achieved through ritual. He denies that he's satanic, seeing himself more as being involved in demonology.
Dude, thanks, Damien. Yeah. Man, you're an intellectual.
It becomes more noticeable today, and talking with Damien, that he has many things from childhood he simply does not remember. This is believed to be a dissociative response to trauma issues.
Wow.
He's a traumatic mind control guy. Isn't that deep, man? That's why he's out there all the time. Like he may not even remember, like Suran. Crazy.
Well, have you guys seen the movie Him that just came out?
Oh, no, so gay. I could not finish, dude. I got 20 minutes in. I'm like, this is the grossest, gayest thing I've ever seen.
Dude, when they're like, I watched it twice, bro. What are you saying?
Was it streaming? Did you watch it streaming?
No, I did some pirate site.
Yeah,
I wouldn't pay for that crap, dude.
Dude, so like there's this scene. Okay, I'm just gonna say for everybody, warning everybody, right? So the dude gets accepted into this like training camp where he's training and learning how to be like tough guy. And if you're not watching, if you're just listening, it is a gay porno. I swear to God. Like they're like, and then there's like one of them's laying on the ground and he's got his knee up and the other one's got his knee and is like pushing on it and like doing this gyrating push.
That was my favorite scene, dude.
And then, but if you close your eyes and listen, one of them's like talking about how like, oh, do you even stretch? And the other one's like, oh, you're so big. And then the other guy's like, oh, you're next. Like, dude, it's like a gangbang of like, It's sick. It's
Oh,
I'm sorry, you guys.
so
I
you're
couldn't
too
watch
homophobe.
it. I couldn't take it seriously. I
You
just-
homophobe.
You homophobe. You phobe. We got a phobe. We
I'm
got
afraid.
a.
I'm so afraid.
I was doing a. I
I
was doing a show the other day because I'm playing sitar, and I said, "Oh, my butt hurts. It hurts because I'm sitting." But he's like, "Oh, why are you telling me that?" I mean, I have these. I don't know why. It's like the sitar like attracts gay men. I remember I'm holding it. This guy came up like on his roller
Big
skates.
phallus.
He's like, "Hey, that's so big. It must be really hard to play."
Oh, are you stretching it? Oh,
But
wow.
anyways, back to the movie. Sorry,
But here's this guy.
Sorry,
Somebody
guys.
comment was Kiska.
Sorry,
Yes, on
guys.
Wong. I saw Atwood's cowardice when Wong was arrested and imprisoned. He acted like Wong never existed. Such a compassionate man. I've watched everything I can with Wong.
Yeah.
So.
No, he was a real hero, and he really completely just. And the thing was, he was so clear, right? He was so, and he was just absolutely, fearless and so compassionate, and so and that's an insane prison sentence. Even if he did take the kid from, they got these Somalian rapes like 20 people. Oh, one, slap on the wrist, go back out and do it again. They let people go for serious violent crimes, and this guy's 17 years, no one was injured. Now, supposedly he did hold a knife to the social worker's neck, but then who knows if that happened or not. But 17 years, dude.
Do you remember the Franklin scandal? How the one girl who didn't recant was like sent to jail indefinitely until she recanted. Like, what? That's
right.
what? How are you going to get truth if that's how it's happening in the courts?
They're in on it. That's the power, baby. That's it.
Yeah, but so anyways, the movie Him, it doesn't really have a plot, but basically the guy is a up and coming football player, ends up, gets his head injury by this guy wearing a weird demon mask, and then turns out that he
Just as Sir Nunos, basically.
Yep, exactly. So anyways, when he gets with this guy, he's staying in this guy's huge compound. The guy's wife is out of town, whatever. Turns out his secret is blood injections. He drinks blood. He gets the blood, and then the blood goes back. They call it the GOAT, the greatest of all time, the GOAT. So it's from the original GOAT, the first greatest football player of all time. It's his blood, and they all drink it. So he has to drink it, and he gets the power from the blood. Wow. So that is, and the movie itself, like, it doesn't really, to me, that's kind of a mind control, working, you know what I mean? I mean,
the blood is the life. Like, dude,
Right.
that's pretty sick. But I mean, it makes it, and the goat with the whole Freemasonry thing and the circumambulating the goat, and like the royal family has a goat in the procession when they're like anointing the king. They got this goat dressed up. Like, what is going on? And they got the picture of the prince, and he's like holding the goat, and he's like holding the rear foot of the goat up. He's like, look at this foot. Why is Prince, whatever the hell is, the bald one that's not the one that's actually the son of Charles. Why is he holding up a foot of a goat? Why do they have the guy dressed as Sir Nunos? Like, and why is it trauma? Why do they got to traumatize the guy? Like, there's a lot to it. I mean, I just couldn't take all the gay stuff. I was sitting there with my wife. We just couldn't get through it. But I mean, I knew they were trying to push some culture. I tried, guys. I tried.
Is it in the theaters or is it streaming on Netflix? Where is
It's
it?
probably streaming. I don't know.
Okay.
I pirated it myself too.
it's kind of flopped, I guess, at the box office.
It deserves to flop, dude. It's anyway.
We know.
I mean, the other Peele movies, they make you think. Jordan Peele's, like, when he directs it, it's like something. Oh, you actually are like using your brain. With this, it was like zoom right in. Look at this thing. It's like a MTV music video. It's like that level of like cognitive, necessities for that.
Yeah.
Watching that movie.
Well, just to ruin the movie. So
Please ruin it.
Yeah, but so the end of it, right? So finally he has to have this battle, and he has to kill the other guy, the other quarterback, right? His idol. He goes out to this open courtyard, and then there's this big pentagram, and then there's a book of blood he has to sign, and then all the team owners, whoever they are, and all the media people, they're all wearing different animal masks, right?
Right there,
Of course.
Yeah, and then
sure.
but then what he does is he takes a sword and kills everybody. And then he just walks away. So, but then the question,
He's
is,
James T. Kirk. He fucking does. He goes against the rules. I'm sorry.
well, no, but then the question is, the thing is, it's not, is he actually redeemed, or is he just now he's a killer, right? Because you know what I mean? Because he didn't, he literally kills every single person there.
That was the initiation. Now he's the greatest because he kills everything. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't imply that he's not going on that path. He just wants to get a higher level on the pyramid.
Right. It's just like the gladiator becomes a good spectator, and then he survives the sport. You know what I mean? In the Roman times, like if you put on a good show or whatever, and the people like you, then you don't get killed, and you get to do it again, and then you become the best killer. Look, I'm the killer guy. It's just like Full Metal Jacket. How can you make somebody turn into a killer? Like, oh, real good character arc there. Like, oh, he's satanic now. Whoopie-doo. He signed the book. Yeah.
What does that do to the audience members too? Think about the audience members.
It's like not even one sentence, dude. It's like you just have like a log line describing a movie. That's like an incomplete sentence. It's like 3 words: drinks blood, kills him. It's just like that's it.
Signs evil book. Right.
It's like there's.
Yeah.
All right.
That's how many that's 80% of Hollywood right there. But anyway, that's the secret, guys. The secret to Hollywood. Make it gay
revealed, exposed.
Have it be vampires
exposed in one sentence.
Dude, the secret. Do you read The Secret? If you're not rich, Oprah says, because you don't think positively.
Right.
That's why she's a billionaire. That's why I have to eat cardboard.
Oprah drank the blood, and she wrote in the book too, dude. Oprah, part of that whole satanic panic, covering it up and shit. She had Aquino on there, and she's like, "Oh, tell me, what should the people think?" And then he goes, "Blah blah 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 blah." She like, if you listen to my show, listen to Carrie O'Lai talk about what Fupa Winfrey is really about. Like, oh my God, she is.
She's like a high priestess.
High level priestess.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, dude.
Makes perfect sense.
We don't need to talk about that now. We're on YouTube.
Well, nothing's happened yet. I haven't been kicked off, so we're still streaming on my free channel. So we're doing good, guys.
We are masters of our own world.
I am suing Oprah for using my foreskin in her face cream. So
it was
or maybe, or I believe it was her. So
Ellen DeGenerate had it was the other one there. But anyway.
Okay.
So let's not talk about foreskins here. We're getting some real serious business, right? Okay.
So. Okay, back to just quick recap. So
listeners.
Yeah. So anyways, back to the doc.
Into it. This is like it's morphed into the common culture, right? So it's morphed into Satanism, into what you're watching on TV, into possibly some of these assassins. It's political assassinations. Weird things have happened, and it can be explained. Some of the high strangeness of some of these characters can be explained. The genesis in the United States of this stuff. Astrobrooks talking to Hoover.
Perfectly capped.
Absolutely. And even like if you see, and I think at some point they start referring also to inputs from media, et cetera, right? There's the implications of that there. I mean, we're talking about it. Look at cannibalism. You know how much, if you go through all the movies about cannibalism, there are a lot. How about all the witch movies? It's like, it's really cool to be a witch. Just be a witch. It's super cool. You know what I mean? And these things are, and then even that Dexter, and he's kind of,
Right.
So lots of inputs that is just enough to give someone a push to take that first step.
Or that Damien Eccles guy who really liked Metallica, and all of a sudden he's famous just for wearing black T-shirts, right? Yeah, I think he's
a public figure
recently.
He's written books. He's featured on Stranger Things as kind of like a heroic
he was
figure.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right.
The figure's based on Eccles, the guy who's in the season 4 or whatever.
Oh,
so the satanic payoff or whatever. But yeah.
That figures.
Wealth and fame, I guess. I mean, I think he has some.
book.
Oh, he did it all, man.
Yeah,
did
he
it
killed
all.
the people, killed the children, and I'm sure he signed the book. And that's why Henry Rollins is up there, like, oh, almost like love, falling over in love with this guy that who supposedly just went to jail. Why are you so
All of them.
famous?
Yeah.
You went to jail for having a black t-shirt. Why does this guy love you so much? Why does Margaret Cho want to give you money? Why does Peter Jackson, like, what the hell? Like,
Right.
it's weird.
It's a hard one because you think at first glance this is just a natural good feeling, like, oh, these guys really have a generous spirit for this poor little guy, and then you go, oh crap, I'm in Rosemary's Baby, and all these people are witches. All of them witches, bro.
No doubt,
It's like
dude.
the horror
Yes.
of Rosemary realizing,
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
Right.
no, it's like They Live kind of, suddenly, and then, if you start, but just aside on Henry Rollins, right? So I remember I was out in California as a kid, I bought like Black Flag LP playing it. My mom's like, I'm whatever grade, I'm in like 5th grade, and then Henry Rollins, of course, very violent, family man, killing the whole family. But great thing at moment of Henry Rollins is he has this rant, one of the punk rants, but it's like totally woke. It's hilarious because he's like, hey, the hell do you mean? Like, it's so funny, dude. It's a woke punk rant, and it's really humorous if you ever find that. But it shows
punk
how
rock is woke now. Like Patti Smith wants people to get the shot. Fucking, Jello Biafra tells people to get the shot. Like, it's wear a mask. Like, that's not punk rock, dude.
wow.
Yeah,
No,
so
it is,
like
but
it's
if
totally
you're
turned upside down.
If
Like,
you're a depopulationist and want people dead and murdered and miserable, do you want them to take the bioweapon? Like watching Trump just promote that guy Borla or whatever, just blow your mind. Like, whoa,
right.
that's it.
The pig taint Borla. Okay, that's how he got his job. Was
Bro, he has his
studying
doctorate
pig
in like
taint.
it's like
Veterinary
animal
something,
husbandry or something.
Right. He studied how far away the genitals are from the asshole of a pig, and that's how he got promoted to the head of Pfizer. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
You'll never take another shot again if you know some of this stuff.
well these things are all interrelated.
About this. We will be talking about this not on YouTube probably in another couple weeks. Our good friend. We're going to continue with our Black Pill Digest deep dive into that whole scenario. We missed it last year, but this year we're going to be having that conversation with both of you as well. So
have you guys studied the strange death around Henry Rollins?
He's dead?
He dead?
I didn't even know.
Yeah, I'll have to. That'll be another show. I'll find my old video.
See,
I studied all those guys when I was doing the West Memphis 3,
right?
Almost 15 years ago, like 2012. So,
right.
Yeah.
And
it's bad. He was in Venice. He was with his roommate, and they supposedly got jumped by 2 black guys, and he luckily dodged the bullet, but the other guy got shot, and then they got away and never got busted. The people who supposedly did it. And then the father's like, I don't believe in her own story. I'll look it up. Like, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
So he was involved in the murder of another person?
I didn't say that. I said that there was somebody who was murdered. Oh, wow. And supposedly the black guys did it, right?
Wow.
Kind of like Amanda Knox,
right? Or like the other one, like the or John Benet Ramsey, like the
or done it. That's what these white people do right away, man.
Or
the I did it.
Or the swastika in New York City that was painted.
Right.
They got the guy.
MAGA country.
He's got his long forelocks and the hat and fedora and spray painting the swastika. Oops.
When I made that video about Henry Rollins, man, people went just apoplectic. They were so pissed that I would even question the validity of Henry Rollins or whatever. I'm like, dude, he's supporting Eccles.
Heroes are tough to break. Like, that's what, talk to Mark Devlin and he'll tell you, like, no heroes, no more. Like, if you look into any of them, they're all bad. Like, I was trying to hold on to Roger Waters for a while, and then he was like, Roger Waters said that Bill Gates is a hero. I was like, oh, There he goes. Like no more heroes. Like, but anyway,
It happened right before Eccles in '93. Look up the murder of Joe Cole, Cole, and on Reddit it says Henry Rollins. Is any of this true?
wow.
Yeah, it's bad.
So that's that makes sense. And if you we talked, I spoke with Brett about these tapes, pin Albert, he's like a Hollywood guy who like grew up with all these Hollywood types, and he was talking about how Alec Baldwin helped like cover up
Oh yeah, no, I remember that show.
Alberto some else. Oh man. And
Dude, there's the
when you
darkest
hear
stories
it's
in Hollywood. It's so
everybody's
dark.
everybody has to murder somebody to like it's
So
like
dark.
yeah, really.
So
Yeah.
dark. When he like supposedly shot that woman on Rust or whatever, one of the most interesting things to watch about Baldwin is watch the interview he did with Stephanopoulos, where it's like a political cover up. Like it's amazing, like the skill of in my opinion, in the propaganda of what he's doing for Baldwin. Like they made it go away, dude. He didn't.
Yeah, and then he tried to sue the people who were putting him on trial. He was like, "How dare you?"
Yeah, art of the personal story. Rick Rubin was with Henry Rollins at the apartment the day before, the same day his roommate got shot. Where Henry Rollins said it was kind of his fault for having a fancy car. Weird. Rubin is super processed church.
I didn't know that. It would make sense, man. I mean, Rick Rubin. I mean, who he promoted.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
super dark story.
It just he's kind of a major tangent. But one thing is like, so I remember, rap. There was sort of a nice, some kind of creativity in rap. You can still kind of hear that, back, God knows, 80s, right? Suddenly gangster rap, right? And basically this genre of music, no genre of music has lasted this long, even remotely this long in American history. Okay? Seriously, think about it. Like you have
now
50
trap music to play in the cell house, like they got. I mean, go ahead.
No, but I'm saying like this rap and this particular style of rap, right? The gangster rap and this kind of real.
It's branched out. I was saying it more.
Oh yeah. But I mean, it's branched out, but still that style, right? I mean, you've got think about '50s rock, right? So when that was current, yeah, I mean, people still like to listen to Elvis or whatever, but as a living genre, that lasted what 4 or 5 years. Even psychedelic rock, this was current. Now people can retread, but it's not. You know what I mean? There's certain things, styles will come and go. Disco, even funk. I play funk, but then funk had its heyday at a certain period. But this particular thing has just subsumed almost all of music for like 30 years, man. With only de-evolution, like straight up de-evolution, man.
And if you look at the state of it now, you got Lil Nas X. We were talking about that with the Cleapot stuff. I mean, how they've devolved it into, selling 666 shoes with human blood in it. Like, why you got to do that to be famous? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's really what the. Anyway, and then and P Diddy gets away with it, like his whole rap scene, like that whole thing. Like, why does he get? Like that's fine. You let him go. It's fine. Just Epstein. Oh, he's dead. So got to be careful, or whatever Bill Gates said. Like, oh, he's dead. Got to be careful. Like, what is that trying to? What the higher order is watching, and if you do it wrong, you'll be dead too. Is that what Bill Gates is trying to say? Like, you better not ask those questions, right? The type of control that they have, like those of us that aren't Grok the clown, we have to be like they have to intimidate us, and they make examples and stuff. That's why Wong got 17 years to scare all of us into submission and like give all of us the learned helplessness that there is no justice, and we have to just let our children be fed to this evil. I mean, it's all learned helplessness. The same thing. It's trauma to the public of all of us when we see the injustice, and we hear of these stories.
Look what they did to Julian Assange, trumped up charges, 2 so-called like
Right.
rape cases, which weren't rape. They're voluntary. I think they set him up with a honey trap, and then the girls kind of he didn't use a rubber or something, and then they misled the public saying he raped them. It's like, no, this is consensual stuff, man. They went home. They went back to their place. So like he went back to the woman's place. Like the guy was a minor celebrity, so he was like,
right. And what did he
the
do?
benefits of a man who likes women, whatever you want to call it. But like he was not
Cis male. Ugh.
Yeah, he wasn't married. So
Right.
like
he's free to do what he chooses, right? And there's no shame
they
in
just
that.
turn that and
it's all a bunch of rapists that are trying to do it to it. They rape
all mind
children,
control,
you know,
bro.
like,
All
oh
mind
man,
control.
yeah, dude. Yeah.
Well, no, then you got like the Me Too movement, but I mean, you look at like, Diddy was like, he was Diddying it up, man. You know, he was corrupting people, his freak offs. I mean, absolutely debasing people, dehumanizing, really disgusting.
Humiliating,
Yeah, disgusting stuff, orgiastic stuff, and then he's drinking beer in his minimum security jail. He's probably going out golfing with Bill Gates. Hi, P. Diddy. Let's go golf. You got some good. Let's do some crack.
Good thing you're not dead like the other guy, huh?
Well, there's strange deaths. Didn't his ex-wife say that he got her or something like that? He poisoned her or something.
Wow. Oh, right. His first wife. Yeah, she died of this weird pneumonia that happens when you get aspirated baby oil in your lungs.
Interesting.
And baby oil is the implement of, so like baby oil is, and also there was Brittany Murphy died the same way, and all these other celebrities, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, that's weird. What? And it's just, anyway.
But he was like drugging the baby oil, right?
I think he was drugging the alcohol, and he was giving alcohol to underage girls with the drugs in it, and he had those labeled as separate, so the dudes wouldn't like mix up the alcohol and get dosed themselves. But he would have these huge amounts of baby oil. I don't know if he dosed the baby oil, but he drowned people in it. Like they died because the large amounts of baby oil that went into their lungs. And how did that happen? Were they raped in the mouth? Like, I mean, this is really sick podcast, you guys. I'm sorry.
Dude, these blackmailing, all these people, famous people were there doing all kinds of crazy stuff. They had also, the interesting thing about that is they had parties within parties. So like you get into the party,
right? That
would be a victory. But then if you were in the party, you could be brought into an even more secretive chamber within the party.
Just like if you circumambulate the goat, then you might become a Shriner and get to ride in a little car, and then you might be a Joker and get to go to the parties with all the hookers. And
we just showed Hoover with the Shriner cap last time. That was my thumbnail.
Yes. Yeah, there's these South African group. It's the husband-wife duo. They have lots of kind of occult stuff or whatever, but their name is escaping me. But he's talking about how he was with, I think it was like P. Diddy and like 2 or 3 of the other top rap guys, and you're hanging out. It's like, hey, time now. Would you like to have some sausage? We're going to oil it up. And he starts making like, I'll have a bratwurst. And then he put a video on of some like, basically it's how the gay porn video is like, I'm not into this. But this was
word you're talking about the Ant word.
The Ant word. Yeah. So again, that's the indoctrination, right? I mean, that's this. Are you willing? Either are you into this, or are you willing to bend over for the stars? Are you willing to have a rocket go in so your rocket can go up?
That's the Ace of Swords right there on Crowley's Toth deck, right? The Ace of Swords going into the crown. Like, anyway, yeah, that's some Kundalini magic, and we've been like veering way off course, guys. I don't know.
Yeah, we got 40 minutes. Let's
really
go
back in like here. Sorry, guys.
Who wants to read something?
We have been on this document, George Hoban Estabrooks document, where he is like, it was FOIA'd in 2017. This is from 1936 to the 70s or 80s.
I think it goes a long way.
Yeah. This is the correspondence between Estabrooks and the FBI. And we've been diving deep in the last like 3 episodes. We're on page 54 today. William, you picked a few good pages, and we're gonna leave the reins with you. Let you
Okay.
take over.
Just the thing is, like, I don't want to reread all the correspondence, but basically, there's a back and forth between Esther Brooks and Hoover. They're trying to set something up at Syracuse. They left off where Hoover said we're going to send somebody up to Colgate, which I think is Hamilton, New York, and Esther Brooks counter offers saying I'll send 3 subjects down and hang out in Washington D.C. So they're trying to set stuff up, and there's this guy Tam who is part of like the special unit at the FBI, and he's going to be the kind of intermediary between Esther Brooks and Hoover. And we talk about the psychopathic hospital. It's mentioned here in some of these documents, but it's really like during the kind of Christmas era or the holiday era, kind of what we're in now, of 36. So they're trying to facilitate this stuff. There's back and forths.
So Esther Brooks is going to show up in Washington during the Christmas, like 2 weeks during Christmas, and he's going to teach whoever needs to know how to operate these 3 subjects that are unwilling, permanent, mind-controlled subjects.
Right.
Two males and 1 female. The males were part of the CCC.
Right.
Whole
Civilian Conservation Corps, I think it is, right?
Yeah.
So that's
a
what
government.
The president set up, right?
Right.
FDR set up. Yeah.
Yes.
Public works, basically, that, you're there, hard times, we're in a barrel, you know what I mean? Like, you're pretty
Right.
poor. So that was for the people that are very desperate, actually.
Right. The Dust Bowl and the Depression was like, this is right after that or during that.
And it's really something else. Like, there's his own correspondence, like in his own words. This is him from Hamilton, New York. Dear Mr. Hoover, just talking about the Syracuse group. He's like talking, and this is his own handwriting. We have outlined a very careful technique with which to approach this whole matter, drugs included, and I think I may count an excellent cooperation. So we can count on excellent cooperation. Getting this underway with this Hildreth of the psychopathic strap, which they got rid of that terminology, but this document is just incredible. Dear Esther Brooks, like, these are direct things between the holiday visits, things like that. December 10th. I think my thing was 68 was kind of where it gets interesting. There's a back and forth. There's bad weather. Coffee can't, make it or something like that. I'm not certain if Thursday appointment. There's Western Union back in the day. That's how people sent stuff. They didn't have emails. They literally had to go to like Western Union. But the correspondence is actually kind of interesting. But Course in Hypnotism by Mr. Q-Tam. I looked him up. He was like the special laboratory guy. So he's going to receive instruction. And this is an interesting one. This is of interest to Hans. We've talked about him in other things, the cybernetic stuff and the Macy conferences. So this is page 68. Esther Brooks to Hoover. I had a very interesting interview with Mr. Coffey on the occasion of my last visit to Washington. So he'd already gone to Washington. He made 1 or 2 proposals, which seemed to me extremely interesting. I've asked Dr. Cutton's consent. That's a guy also from Colgate or whatever. To my cooperating along the lines with Mr. Coffey suggested, Dr. Cutton sees no possible objection. It appears that our examination period comes from January to February 2nd, so they're pushing it back to 37. Mr. Coffey suggested, among other things, that he and I pay a brief visit to Dr. Milton Erickson, Eloise State Hospital, Eloise, Michigan. Dr. Erickson is perhaps our best research man in this whole problem and would, where's that? Problem, and would, I know, be very pleased to cooperate. I've written Dr. Erickson to see if he will be at the hospital during this period. Should he be there, I might I suggest that we make our visit, say, the weekend of the 23rd and 24th of January. This would give us the opportunity of seeing Dr. Erickson and returning immediately to Hamilton, where I could spend the next week with the individual whom you might delegate to work here. That's Tam. During that period, this letter's suggestion is in keeping with the proposal made by Mr. Coffey. I shall be very much interested in having your reaction on my proposition concerning Dr. Shankweiler made verbally to Mr. Coffey. Dr. Cutton, that's the head of Colgate, I think, wishes me to extend you his very best wishes, G.H.S. Esther Brooks. And who is Milton Erickson?
Yeah. And so Milton Erickson is really really a seminal figure that cuts across the decades, right? So he was the primary Bandler and Grinder, right? Richard Bandler out there just doing cocaine with a bunch of the CIA guys. The CIA guys would all hang out with Bandler. They'd do tons of coke, hang out at a swimming pool, and he would teach them NLP. But the the two primary influences and the potentially the progenitor, right, of the whole NLP movement was actually Bateson, but the main technical research person was Erickson. It was based mostly 80% off Ericksonian hypnosis techniques. And I have some of the original volumes of NLP, and they are, so you have these books like Frogs and the Princes and all these paperback things, and they're all mostly just dialogues, right? Or transcripts. This one is all scientific, these volumes, leather bound. They're all like flow charts of the brain processing written in like code, A plus B, all equations, particular equations that can be actually fed into machines too, but equations of how to, all these different things, induce trances, create these different states, create anchors, create triggers, all kinds of stuff, anything you can imagine, right? But the thing about Erickson, I want to emphasize is that he was the master of inducing various degrees of hypnotic trance, right? And including like, okay, so you don't know what you're doing, you don't know where you're going, or inducing a trance, you're actually hypnotized, but you think you're normally conscious and aware. You don't even know you're hypnotized. And
that's a perfect lead into where we're going to get to.
Yeah,
hopefully
but also and he would hypnotize, like, so if I was in Ericksonian hypnosis, I would. I mentioned I had that CD box set of CDs for my friend from the pickup artist. Like, Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Or like, hey, have you ever? I really feel like it's. Let's get naked. No, that's not good. Like something. Not like that, but embedding, hello, it's nice to see you, and it's great to be here. And so let's go find a particular way that okay, this is not, obviously I don't know Ericksonian hypnosis, but basically in a lot of times he'll talk and it won't, you ever hear some people talk and it's kind of like, almost seems kind of like, you can kind of follow what they're saying, but it's kind of, not word salad, but kind of seems kind of disjointed or whatever. Bandler is a great example of that. People even give speeches like Bateson. You listen to Bateson's public speeches. They're like this, right? They don't get to the point. You know what I mean? But this is how they embed the Ericksonian hypnosis command lines and various triggers and things like that. So it is a subtle technique, but then you can use also physical touching, et cetera. But yeah, Erickson, very, 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 very important. So that's my little.
Founded the American Society for Clinical Hypnosis in 1957 and served as his first president. So he's at this for decades, guys. This is him in 37. This is a freaking expert. And I mean, it shows the confluence coming together of Estabrooks, Hoover, and Erickson.
What's interesting though is, those things like, so when, in the 80s or whatever, in NLP, and go to that, because I was into that literature a long time ago, way before it got people say, oh, you're using NLP. Like a lot of people don't really even understand what the principles are, how it works, etc. But he is kind of like this old scholarly grandpa guy, sitting on his easy chair, and just this old guy just happens to be good at hypnosis, and all this other history is obscured, right? Especially this early history. I mean, so really just look at him as, some kind of 70s, guru, or, guy or whatever. Right. But, but
they form themselves to the public that way, right, Hans? I mean, don't you think?
Absolutely. And you just kind of, if it's not in the media, unless someone's going to do scholarly research, they're not going to know. It's as good as invisible.
So this is without breaking the legs of Grok. Neurolinguistic programming is like subtle, and it puts you in the trance because of the cadence of the words being spoken, and you get put into an alpha state, basically like a TV set, kind of. Is that what you're...
There's many different techniques. So there's a whole variety of things, and it could be much more powerful, and it could be a complete, also to the level of almost total domination and mind control as well. But
Wow.
primarily, you're dealing with the formations of consciousness, internal, external, different modalities, and they actually have something which is quite interesting, is the eye movement stuff, right? Which
Right.
was
EDM something.
no. So this is the access, right? So if you look up and to the left, you're accessing imaginary kinesthetic. You look down to the right, you're
It's
doing
like a memory that you actually remember or something, right?
or you're either accessing a memory or accessing something externally, but you can actually
Right.
track. And they had these cue patterns of basically,
Right.
so the eye movement related to what part of your brain you're accessing or what you're experiencing. So there's a whole code with that. Supposedly this was discredited, but that's one of those things where I wonder if it actually works, right? And you can even notice it. And sometimes, certain things you can do, like if you need to do a particular type of task, you can like look in a certain direction to access a part of your brain. But you can code someone and you can get a reading of what their subjective consciousness is doing, and this allows you to come around the back door. And also to implant things. This is called anchoring, right? You put an anchor in.
Right.
So
Put the American flag right there when you start crying at the movie, right? Yeah.
Well, anchor, a lot of times the anchor is just
kidding.
anchors will create a state, right? So there's a particular stimulus, then you've anchored that state in, right, with the trigger. So you can create an emotional state, you can create a psychic state, you can create a
Right.
mental processing
And it
state.
anchors it to a symbol or a thought, right?
Symbol, word, combination.
Right.
It could even just be like that teacup, right? We talked
Yes,
about.
yeah, the thing
Ye-
with the spoon with the
Yep,
right,
that's
monkey paw, right,
that's a classic example of that.
right.
He
So you
attended
don't have
earlier conferences such as the 1942 Hosea Macy Jr. Foundation event on brain research and the 1960 Hypnosis Symposium. So he's all involved in this. His research induced amnesia, false memories, and antisocial behavior. So he knew all these techniques. We're going to find that here if we get through this document.
I wanted to say, Kelly, thank you. Kelly just boosted my confidence.
Oh,
She said Hans just hypnotized me. But no, I mean, but notice, and even public speakers, right? And you can find this, especially in, if there's something kind of a little bit, not say off, but they're talking and it either seems like sometimes, you can also do it by it seems like you're just either kind of rambling or else jumping around subjects or just something. And a lot of times that's where things like that will be embedded in there. A great example of this is Terrence McKenna, right? He talks like that. So Terrence McKenna,
right. He goes on and on forever. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Anybody want to read this? This is page 70, memorandum for the director. So this is going straight to Hoover, involving
Sure.
Estabrooks and Erickson.
I'll take that.
Okay.
Memorandum for the director. The Executives Conference on January 7th, 1937. Messrs. Tolson, Tam, Hintz, Quinn, Schilder being present, considered a report submitted on January 5th, 1937 by Mr. Coffey concerning a recent conference with Dr. G.H. Estabrooks with reference to the Bureau's continued study of hypnotism. Dr. Estabrooks reported his continued study of this entire subject and indicated that he had been corresponding with Dr. Erickson, now stationed at the State Psychiatric Hospital in Eloise, Michigan, who has done some startling work along these lines. That line is in quote, startling work along these lines. Dr. Estabrooks recommended that because of the inability of the Bureau to employ any of the three persons previously suggested by him. Now, these are the total slaves. Their minds can, with the flick of a finger, they do anything they're told by Estabrooks. These people are total mind control slaves. That's who he's mentioning here. Okay. With the inability of the Bureau to employ any of the three persons previously suggested by him, possibly special instruction could be afforded to Mr. W.N. Shankweiler, present applicant for a position as special agent in the Bureau, whose file indicates that he plans to accept appointment in June of this year. Mr. Coffey did not feel that Shankweiler should be given any special study if appointed. He advised Dr. Estabrooks that the Bureau desired to keep him in touch with this matter and recommended that Mr. Quinn Tam of the Bureau's laboratory staff confer with him for about a week, and stated that efforts would be made to have Mr. Tam spend this period studying the subject of hypnotism. Dr. Estabrooks wanted Mr. Coffey to visit Dr. Erickson at Eloise, Michigan. Mr. Coffey suggested that possibly Mr. Tam could arrange this visit. The executives conference agreed with the recommendation that Mr. Quinn Tam be authorized to proceed to Hamilton, New York, to spend a period not exceeding 1 week to study the principles of hypnotism and meeting and conferring with the various members of the Syracuse group. The conference, however, was not disposed to recommend that Mr. Tam proceed with Dr. Estabrooks to Eloise, Michigan, to confer with Dr. Erickson, or to agree with Mr. Coffey's recommendation that arguments be made, if possible, to assume Dr. Estabrooks's traveling expenses from Hamilton, New York to Eloise, Michigan for this conference. The executives conference recommended, however, that the Detroit Field Division be written to conduct inquiries as to Dr. Erickson's research along these lines. So, startling work along these lines. Would you like to say something about that, or should I keep going?
Eloise is a suburb of Detroit, so it's basically back when Detroit was a semi-functioning city.
But I just want to call attention to there now it looks like everything was in place to get those 3 people in DC, but to make sure they have no connection with the Bureau. So yeah, and suddenly they just like, and again, this is happening pretty quickly. So there's nothing in between saying, okay, we can't proceed as planned. We just have to make sure that it's not connected with us. So this is right here, it looks like they already had brought them there. It's already set up, but now it's like, oh, we couldn't do it. You know what I mean? So I think that's just, I don't know. To me, that
it may have happened. Fishy. Maybe this is just baloney. This is a classified doc. Some of the scribblings on this doc are interesting. It shows how many people looked at it or signed off. You can see their signatures, and it goes to Tolson, and it's supposed to go, I think, to J. Edgar Hoover and all these other bigwigs at the FBI. So Clyde Tolson actually signed it, so totally involved in all this stuff. It just is just another one. They're setting up a conference. They're just notifying people. This is the 5th. There's kind of an interesting thing on this. It's basically Dr. Estabrooks stated 2 experiments have been conducted using nitrous oxide, but they were not successful in hypnotizing the subject while under the influence of the anesthetic. He attributes the failure, however, to the particular subject used, pointing out that he was a chronic alcoholic and of a very nervous temperament. Dr. Estabrooks stated that it was necessary to slow up further actual experiments for 2 reasons. 1, the extreme difficulty of him getting to Syracuse in the winter weather due to the impassable condition of the roads, and 2, the desire of the group to research a little further into existing literature before proceeding with other subjects and experiments. So it's just kind of, let's see. Estabrooks also informed me that he'd been corresponding on the subject with the Dr. Erickson. So they don't know the importance of Erickson. Maybe Erickson isn't as important yet. Now stationed at the State Psychiatric Hospital at Eloise, Michigan in Detroit, that Erickson has recently done some startling work, like you mentioned, in connection with a criminal subject who's the victim of amnesia. According to Dr. Estabrooks, Dr. Erickson was able to get the subject to recount his entire past history, including his criminal activities, all under the influence of hypnotism. And then they mentioned the 3 guys, like you mentioned, the mind control slaves. Dr. Estabrooks stated that in light of the inability of the Bureau to employ any of the 3 persons whom he previously named to be used as experimental subjects here in Washington, he had an alternate suggestion to make, namely that he would give some special instruction to Shankweiler who is now a professor of classical literature at Colgate, and who has an application for appointment as a special agent before the Bureau. Estabrooks pointed out that Shankweiler would then have the special training in the event he enters on duty with the Bureau as a special agent. I've since examined Shankweiler's personal file, and it would appear it has been tendered an appointment as special agent and plans to accept in June of 37. Hypnotic work, further possibilities. Estabrooks apparently reconciled himself to the fact that the Bureau could not now appoint any of his devotees on the subject, and was of the opinion that one of the laboratory staff could help keep in touch with the situation, particularly if he made a study of the principles of hypnotism. Play visit him in Hamilton. Estabrooks also very anxious that I meet more with the Syracuse group. Now, this is kind of just correspondence. They're trying to figure everything out, going back and forth. But I think the next one was 76. But this is all really important. Like they're just corresponding, like familiarizing themselves with each other, Hoover and Estabrooks. But I think the next one was 76. It says, in connection with the Bureau's study of various methods for the detection of deception, it has been reported to the Bureau that Dr. Erickson, now stationed at the Psychiatry Hospital, Eloise, Michigan, has recently made some extensive studies and experiments in the field of hypnotism. According to the information given to the Bureau by Estabrooks of Colgate, Dr. Erickson was able to cause a victim of amnesia to recount his entire past history, including his criminal activities, all under the influence of hypnotism. I mentioned that, so it's pretty interesting. So these guys are going back and forth. They're trying to get to Utica. There's bad weather. And I think the next one was 81, I think is where it starts. I think it's summer vacation, psychological tests, serious regards, Estabrooks to Hoover. I think the next one is really 85. So just more correspondence. They're trying to get together. Yeah, this is it. Anybody want to read this? This is like the Russian hypnotized trial. This is 37, guys. This should be you. You should read this, Hans. Can you read that?
Yeah, let me make sure I'm on the right. Okay,
It's 85.
Yep. Okay. So this is a for those listening on the radio, this is a copy of a newspaper clipping. So here this is okay. 17 Russians hypnotized at trial. Charge. London, January 27th. UP. Mass hypnotism, a mysterious truth drug, and an epidemic of mass confession were advanced by newspapers today in their efforts to explain the statements of 17 men on trial for treason in Moscow. A Warsaw correspondent of the anti-communist Daily Mail described in detail the alleged mass hypnotism of subjects. They were put in a big, brightly lighted room, forbidden to talk for a few minutes, then confronted by a hypnotist and assistants. The hypnotist, the correspondent said, faced the subjects while attendants turned off lights except for spotlights at which the subjects gazed, and then a monotonous speech sent them into a trance. The Daily Express and Morning Post, also anti-communist, inclined to the truth drug idea, but a post-medical correspondent recalled, as a simpler explanation, the occasional epidemics of confession in schools and institutions after religious meetings.
Right. So these reports are being bandied about. Pretty interesting.
So they're blind. They're putting a spotlight in their eyes like a deer that's on the highway, and like a car's coming at it. Like they're trying to access that type of freeze response, the dissociation, right, with the lights and this is like a rock concert. I mean, didn't Taylor Swift have everybody do that at her concert? Right. She probably had spotlights.
William, could you read the next one? His handwriting is a bit tricky for me to decipher.
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to, those aren't, to me, they weren't relevant when I went through them earlier. They're still kind of going back and forth. They're just trying to get up to Hamilton. I think the next one I had was 101. Another letter, Estabrooks, Hamilton, hypnotism, criminal field. I'm on page 91. That's where I'm at.
And
Like, but you just see the scribblings. These are going back and forth, and all these people are getting them. They're like putting their signature on there. There's Hoover back to Estabrooks, Estabrooks to Hoover. They're talking about like summer vacation and stuff. Mount Harmon
probably
School.
coded language, probably like, oh,
Maybe.
I got your napkin on my pizza.
All right. There's a proposed trip to Tam to go north. There's a mention of Rockefeller case, Enrique Garcia. I don't know what that is. That's the contemplated visit of Mr. Quinn and Tam to Hamilton, New York, February 37th. So they're trying to arrange it. It's not happening. Mr. Tam of the technical laboratory informed me of the courteous manner which he was treated while visiting at Colgate. So he made it. That's the assistant to the FBI. And then Nathan, and then Estabrooks. Visit. I wish to thank you for listening to names. We're at the charge possible. And then Estabrooks sends something back. I promised him the names, initials of several gentlemen, if he wished. These are Reifenstein, Hildreth, Dooley. I'm not familiar with some of these names. They don't look familiar to me. But he's also looking for a job. And then this memorandum of Nathan, if anybody wants to read this, this is interesting. It's page 101. Does anybody want to read that? Any volunteers? I can't hear you, Sean.
I'm
Go ahead,
muted.
Sean.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
ahead,
I'll
you
take
do.
over. What were you saying? 105? This memorandum for Mr. Nathan, March 10th. Is that what you're talking about? William? Is that? Oh, you're
Exactly,
muted now.
precisely,
Okay.
sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
thanks.
That was
That's
it.
great. All right. I'll take over. Okay. The ramifications which he is finding in the problem itself. That's probably continued from a previous page. Okay.
Can you see what's on the screen? It's a 101. It says memorandum
101.
from Mr.
All right.
Nathan.
I'll get it. Here, I was on 105. Here we go. Memorandum from Mr. Nathan, March 10th, 1937.
Yeah, there you
The following is a report of the visit of Mr. Q. Tam to the laboratory with Dr. G.H. Estabrooks of Colgate University, at which time Dr. Estabrooks demonstrated to Mr. Tam the various phenomena connected with hypnotism. Sorry, I had the heater on. I'll turn it off. During the first evening of the visit at Colgate University, Dr. Estabrooks demonstrated his technique using two presidical pre-medical. All right, that's an M. All right, sorry. This is a mimeograph.
We're having a
long
moment.
time
These
ago.
are hard documents to read. And some of the,
It's a millennial moment. It's
the
okay.
handwritten
Oh, yeah,
ones are
you bastard!
impossible.
I'll never live that down now.
Handwritten ones are impossible to read.
Right, it's right. But anybody can download them and decipher them themselves. I posted it on my
Send us
my
the stuff.
Odyssey
If you have
page.
like things that we missed or anything, please send us an email. You can contact Sean or Hans or me.
Yes.
Send us an email. If you
That'd
have any
be
thoughts or comments or
Yeah.
questions, we'll look at the comments here after we're done with this document.
Yes. Okay, that'd be great. So two pre-medical students from whom he had picked from a group of 10 students as being possible hypnotic subjects. Mr. Tam was informed that Dr. Estabrooks had never worked with these two students before. During the process of the demonstration, Dr. Estabrooks was successful in immediately inducing a deep state of somnambulism simply by the suggestion that the student relax and go to sleep. Just a suggestion.
No prior, he didn't work with them before either, right?
Wow.
He'd never worked with these two students before.
But somnambulism again means there's like sleepwalking, right? They're
Yes.
they're asleep and they're doing activities, they're following the commands while like a zombie, man.
Yeah.
A great point. That's what these people are like. They're like sleepwalkers. They get put into a somnambulistic state.
So yeah, Estabrooks is this just magician that just puts people just by suggesting. Okay. During the course of the experiment, Mr. Tam observed Dr. Estabrooks's method in inducing hypnosis and also ascertained from him that it is his belief that approximately 1/5 of the people in this country will make good hypnotic subjects. However, The consensus of opinion is that such a state of somnambulism is most successfully produced in people of the higher intelligence level. This is the same with all the SRA stuff, that the children have to be creative and intelligent. However, this correlation of intelligence with the ability of the person to be placed in a state of hypnosis did not follow through all the experiments which were conducted. On the second day of Mr. Tam's visit, in the company of Dr. Estabrooks, he proceeded to Syracuse University, where various doctors of the psychopathic clinic were contacted. The first of these doctors who Dr. Tam met was Dr. Marion Dooley, one of the recognized world's authorities on drugs. Dr. Dooley, during the course of conversation which Mr. Tam had with him, advised that he understood that the Michigan State Police, in their work in conjunction with a Dr. Snyder, are making extensive use of the so-called truth serum. I'm assuming that's truth serum, SERA. In connection, Dr. Dooley advised that Dr. Snyder is successfully giving injections of scopolamine and also sodium anitol in large quantities, which have previously been thought to be fatal.
Does anybody know what scopolamine is? Anybody?
Yes.
That's a zombie drug, man.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the drug that's used. They blow the powder on you, and then next thing you know, you're lying naked in a bed with a bunch of dudes.
Or you can watch videos online of dudes who've been rolled in Colombia by prostitutes who they've applied. It's called devil's breath or something like that. It's scopolamine. So this is like scopolamine is like when it's manufactured in a lab or something like that. But it's They're doing it to this day.
It comes from the flower of the tree. It's like a natural, but it takes away your will. It makes you have no will. Just like what Dahmer was trying to do to his victims. He wanted to like burn their brain with acid and shit, so they would just be a zombie. That's what he wanted.
He actually drew
zombie.
He drilled holes in their brain and poured acid in.
Right.
Yeah, which is
right.
Dude, incredible
to
stuff.
make a somnambulist. Like that.
He just didn't know these techniques.
Best movies of the German.
Luckily, he didn't know these techniques. Here's the thing: reread that sentence again. In connection with Dr. Dooley, advised that Dr. Snyder is successfully giving injections of scopolamine and also sodium amytal in large quantities, which have been previously been thought to be fatal. They're succeeding. This is a success. In 1937, guys, we're way before MK Ultra. And had to have some of this information.
And the thing is, they're doing stuff that, this is not like gentle experimentation, man. This is like, let's see how much we can give them. Oh, his heart's
used
still
to
beating.
think this was fatal. Here you
go. Let's just, and it is so.
Wow.
And where do they get the subjects
in a scientific environment, right?
Scientific.
The psychopathic clinic. Who's the psychopath, right?
Yeah.
Is it the doctors or the freaking patients? Yeah.
Well, but sodium amytal, it is, it's a very powerful barbiturate, right? It's a central nervous system depressant. Right. And a lot of this stuff, right? A lot of this sort of you could say the hypnotized, transformed world we live in is because of when you have everything with your parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system, the central nervous system can control, right? That becomes a controller where you're just literally on the surface of your life and your central nervous system is moving. So in a sense, this is and it also affects brain hemispheres, right? So sodium amytal mixed with scopolamine, man, that is a hard, this is a very hardcore drug, man. You know what I mean? This is not sodium pentothal, right? So amytal was the Eli Lilly. I guess it's not available anymore. If anybody has any,
Probably because it's
I'd like
fatal.
I'd like to try it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, let's try that.
Split your hemispheres. No.
You know, but I mean, it can
And
be.
previously thought to be fatal. That's
But I mean,
what isn't right. That's the whole thing. People have to understand how important classification is to a functioning society based upon freedom and liberty. None of this stuff was ever publicized until 2017. The guy Black Bolt found it. So Greenwald or whatever. So this is like incredible what they're doing, but the public never. Historians probably didn't know this. I would like to find a historian who actually has this information in their books about. There's no books about Estabrooks. There's his books, but there's very little about Estabrooks outside of McGowan or some of these other characters. Maybe it's in Operation Mind Control or the Search for the Manchurian Candidate. But
Boer,
like,
yeah.
I don't even think this. I've read Operation Mind Control. This information isn't in there.
Yeah. No, this, yeah. But also, Serra, right? Que sera, right? So, truth sera. You know what I mean? They may be making a reference to that que sera. You know what I mean? Like, whatever will be, or, like basically, and in that way, like, it's like we get to, I mean, this is a bit of a leap, but like, que sera, well, we just injected him with like this, 20 different drugs that are like, even in small doses, are incredibly powerful. Oh, he's still alive. Que sera, true sera. So I think, there may be a little, because of course they know how to spell serum. Right. And the reason they're using that word, and that's a Latin reference, right? Que sera. So I think that's indicative of also their cavalier attitude towards their subjects.
But this is it. They're using hypnosis and drugs together at very early at 1937 in a clinical environment. So do you mind continuing, Sean?
No, I'd be happy to. Let's see. Okay. Dr. Dooley advises that. Oh, here, let me turn off the heater 1 second. Dr. Dooley advises that he understands that Dr. Snyder of the Michigan State Police is being extremely successful in his use of the so-called truth serum. And so this is a cop doing this to people, like inject. Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, finish the sentence and read it.
I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Dr. Dooley advises that he understands that Dr. Snyder of the Michigan State Police is being extremely successful in his use of the so-called truth serum, but that publication of any of the work being done has been withheld. Mr. Tam also asked Dr. Dooley about the use of oxygen, such as is being made in hospitals at the present time to reduce the air tension in special rooms. What's that about? How would that affect your consciousness if there's less oxygen?
Dude, they do. I don't know. I've heard that casinos in Vegas increase oxygen.
Right.
It keeps,
to keep
gives
you
more
awake.
Energy. Yeah. Keeps you
Oh,
awake.
they want to induce the somnambulism. They want to make
Something.
sleep. Right.
Yeah.
But one thing that we don't really think about, not to make people freak out, but just be totally paranoid. We got the black awakening is coming. We got all these cells of chosen ones, mind-controlled assassins ready to wake up at any moment.
Cult of the black flame.
But with scents, right? Smells, like that's something also they use. I mean, because also inhaled drugs, right? But very small particle content in atmospheres, in schools, in shopping places. Like sometimes you notice like kind of
and Fitch.
Like weird smells, but you also have the memory that's like an NLP thing, right? Triggering, but also who knows, like some of these drugs or things like that just being put, into the air conditioning or whatever.
Or into the police interrogation room. What, the police are doing this? Like, I don't like this, I'm saying anyway.
Dude, they're thinking about it. That's what's crazy.
Right. So, okay.
I'm just glad Damien Eccles isn't a Satanist. I feel.
Right.
He just likes the moon.
It's satanic panic, guys. It's satanic panic. Stop panicking. Stop panicking.
I'm a demonologist.
Theorist.
Yeah, I'm just a conspiracy theorist,
stop
I guess.
Engaging in satanic panic, conspiracy theorist. Are you crazy?
I better go to work and believe the TV.
Yeah. How could you doubt the FBI story in anything?
Right.
Tyler
Right.
Robinson killed Charlie Kirk with a 30-06.
And the bullet disappeared. It exploded his
no.
heart, but it's not there. We can't
Exploded his
find
heart.
it.
It stopped at his spine,
Right.
and then it bounced his heart and went back up. It's like a
Right.
magic bullet. It's like
Right.
incredible.
Magic bullet. They're trying to pull that.
You guys are
magic
asking way too many
bullet
questions.
again. Yeah.
Go huff some oxygen and some scopolamine and shut up.
That might be fun, actually. Here we go. Okay, moving on. So in this connection, Dr. Dooley, reduce the air tension in special rooms, right? In this connection, Dr. Dooley advised that the use of oxygen in this form produces a mild state of intoxication and is used in a great number of dementia
Dementia praecox is what it's called. I think that's what they called it.
cases. Okay, so that's like a Latin term for a judicial thing.
Alzheimer's, basically Alzheimer's.
Oh, I see. My grandmother had that. Yeah. So okay. It produces a mild state of intoxication and is used in a great number of dementia praecox cases to reduce the resistance of the person to being so to reduce the resistance of the person so being treated. People that with dementia can fight the doctors. It's really sad sometimes to see what happens. In being Dr. Dooley's opinion that the use of oxygen in this form places the patient in such a position that their resistance is at a low ebb. That's convenient for the controllers. Okay. After the conference, as set out above, Mr. Tam had a conference with Dr. E.C. Reifenstein, Jr., and a Dr. Hildreth. Dr. Reifenstein is the intern in the hospital conducted by the Psychopathic Clinic of Syracuse University and has had a good deal of experience in hypnosis, having taken training under Professor Wells, formerly of Syracuse University, and recognized at one time as one of the world's foremost authorities on hypnosis. Dr. Reifenstein had been contacted by Dr. Estabrooks for the purpose of conducting experiments in making use of drugs, and has been working in this connection with Dr. Hildreth, although a great deal of experiments have not been made. It is Mr. Tam's opinion that Dr. Reifenstein is scientifically sound and is a type of person who has an extremely analytical mind. He seems to be very enthusiastic about the experiments to be conducted in line with ascertaining the various phases of hypnosis and has done an extremely large amount of reading on this subject. Dr. Reifenstein, if his enthusiasm remains at this point, which it is at the present time, would undoubtedly produce results that would be very indicative of how far the subject of hypnosis can be used and just what type of reaction can be expected from a person who is under the influence of drugs. And this is in 1937. So we talked about before, LSD was first synthesized in 1937. And then it was like famously put on the map in 1943. And we remember what happened with the whole drugs. We talk about it with Hans all the time. So anyway, Dr. Reifenstein, is enthused. Okay. However, Mr. Tam reports that due to the approach which Dr. Reifenstein is making to this problem, due to the type of person which he is, while extremely energetic and wanting to arrive at a successful conclusion, his analytical, scientific mind has broken the problem down into so many phases that it could not possibly be finished by less than 20 years research at the rate in which the problem is progressing at this present time.
Incredible, right? They see this as this almost ever-sized mountain to scale, right?
It is, though. I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
and they did put that much effort into it. Really, I mean,
They
how
sure
much?
did.
Yeah.
They sure did.
Mr. Tam attempted to point this out to Dr. Reifenstein and endeavored to suggest to him some shortcuts which could be taken to definitely ascertain as quickly as possible whether the injection intravenously of certain types of drugs would place a person in a condition in which they were more susceptible to hypnosis. In this connection, Dr. Reifenstein had come across in the literature a book entitled Hypnosis, written in Germany by two psychologists named Dr. Schilder and Otto Kauders, in which it was revealed that these two men had done extensive work in the use of drugs in connection with hypnosis and had decided that probably the best of the drugs to use would be a derivative of barbuteric acid, which can be used in a fast-acting form and injected either intravenously or given orally. Does anybody know what barbuteric acid is?
I'm looking it up right now. According to Wikipedia, it is a
barbiturate or something.
odorless powder soluble in water. It's the parent compound of barbiturate drugs. It's first synthesized by Adolf von Bayer. So, but it's interesting. This is kind of the cross-pollination of this hypnosis research in the 30s, pre-World War II, right?
Right.
So the Germans,
Germany, right? Yeah, and they were also doing the. I mean, Pfizer comes from. Okay, we don't need.
This document is incredible, bro. This is like early history.
Wow. Okay. So this drug will place a person under its effects and completely out for a period of 15 minutes. Then, in addition, they will have a half hour in which they are extremely sleepy while the effect of the drug is wearing off. Mr. Tam suggested to Dr. Reifenstein that if material were available, it might be a good idea to experiment first with this drug due to the fact that the literature reflects that it would probably be the most successful drug to use. To give an idea as to the breakdown which Dr. Reifenstein has made of the problem, Mr. Tam reports that the following outline has been prepared by Dr. Reifenstein and then broken up again into 70 some different sections.
That's how big the problem was, right? He just said before, more than 20 years research at the rate in which the problem is progressing. So the resources that they've applied, it'll take 20 years to go through. That was the size of the problem they were looking at. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. You guys just keep reading.
Okay. I would just increase the amount of money and just make it faster, right? Yeah, go ahead.
I think maybe this thing goes super long in detail, just the rest of this letter. Maybe you hit that Erickson PowerPoint that he has.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I think that might be interesting, but
should we wait for him?
Yeah, no, we'll wait. But man,
he's got the PowerPoint.
But
I thought he sent it already. I was going to open it up.
But I do have to tell you, man, that I mean, the Russ Dizdar guy's just he was hardcore, man.
I'm so glad you're listening to him. Like, holy shit, dude, it's so important.
I'll tell you the truth. Like, I'd come across that some years ago, and it was just it was too far. I was like, dude, this is like
it's hard to get. It's hard, and he's so like religiously Christian.
Yeah.
It's like hard sometimes for my brain to absorb because of my own problems with it, but I mean, I have the same, my heart is in my will is aligned with his, even though he speaks in a different language. He is very scientific and he's getting evidence of what's happening and speaking his ideas. It's very interesting.
Well,
everybody should hear it.
But he knows. I mean, he's very advanced spiritually in terms of knowing all all the realms, all the different types of energies, all the all these different things. So he very much is right there in where this is not. It's not. what do you call it, a dog and pony show, right? I mean, he is there
Real
with the actual
trenches.
energies, and he's in that level of where he's operating within these actual, spaces, right? The
Exactly.
non-physical stuff, and he gets that, says the spirit of God, the spirit of Christ, and all this stuff. But but then he's talking about all the millions, also the non-physical entities that are there, right? And then the ones, and then this is maybe a
Yes.
tangent. If we tie this into our kilowatt stuff, oh my God, whoa! Then that's like I didn't even really want to entertain that, but if you dial that in with this level, then not only does it really make sense, but then it's like you can see, oh,
It's happening.
it's happening, but then it's
You
more
see
like
it happening.
no, but he's saying like there's the SRA people, right? They're called the chosen ones
Yes.
because they have all these different abilities, and then they have
Right.
certain.
They're like a butterfly. They're so much better than the worm they used to be, right?
Well, no, but then they can speak different languages. They can have a cover personality. Then they can have personalities that know ancient Twilight languages, that know summoning, that are high level priests. They have different other
Actual demons inside
the grid,
right?
inside the
Right. The matrix of the brain.
Yeah, the programming matrix, which
Yes.
Greenbaum talked about, right? Was the that using the Kabbalah with, then you break that into the different squares.
Right. Look at Laura Worley with the internal tree that she talks about. The Kleepoth tree is the main structure of all SRA, like the Kabbalah tree, she calls it. But I mean, you and I know the Kleepoth tree is connected the same, it's the reflection of the same tree, but anyway, yeah, she talks about Laura Worley. She just wrote a new book. I want to get her on the show again. She's been on my show, and she talks about how the tree is part of the internal grid. That is the structure that the rest of it is all hung upon. Like the Alice in Wonderland stuff is just taken and then placed on top of this other older internal structure, which is the main, so that it can be accessed by the specific people that need to access it, because like, oh, that one's programmed with aliens. Oh, that one's programmed with Alice in Wonderland. Oh, that one, but they all have this internal core programming of the tree. It's really sick.
Yeah. Hey, William, my suggestion was, because this is a pretty extensive, the rest of this document, would you be interested in hitting that Erickson
Sure.
PowerPoint you found? Because I think that seemed really fascinating. So
did you guys get to just where it started, general outline of problems of hypnosis?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we can just pick that up last time. Let's go to Erickson stuff. Come on, computer, what are you doing? Okay. Don't want to share that.
That what we just went over is so huge. I mean, like,
yeah, I mean, just watching.
we're just like reading this thing, but it is so. I mean, all the connections are tied, and we look at they're even saying witch drugs combined with hypnosis, and we almost killed these people, and these ones are
previously
permanent
thought
subjects.
fatal, baby.
Right, dude, and like,
it's not even funny. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's
dude,
incredible.
It's just,
I admitted it.
You have to laugh. It's just
how
could this
be
this clown world that we live in, it must be like a farce, dude. How can this be true?
But these are hardcore drugs, man, and they're intravenous, and they're like,
is the most
they say
hardcore.
if you OD on scopolamine, you can be in some kind of altered state for months. Like,
right,
you forget stuff, but like you have this kind of, they call it like a psychedelic hangover, where like you're a mess for a long period of time.
Right.
Like,
and people can go and watch. Vice did a documentary talking about scopolamine. They went to Colombia, and they're talking about it. And they like he was saying, the hookers will blow the stuff in they have dust, and they blow it in your face, and it gets on your skin, on your eyeballs, gets in your nose, and it just affects you completely, and you have no will. And the hooker says, bring me to your house and give me all your possessions. Bring me to the ATM and take out all your money and give it to me. And they're on video doing this. And it's like,
it's unbelievable.
Right. And if the government had this power in 1937, I mean,
They're doing it and testing, and this is just stuff that is in their correspondence. We don't know like where the other documents are, where the guy in the white coat is just writing down, okay, we got Bob to go to his bank in 1937 and get money and come back. He doesn't remember it. Like
And
he
we're,
gave us or whatever, shot somebody or whatever, criminal act. Oh, that makes this whole thing about like you can't make somebody to do something outside of their will. What if they don't even remember? How do they have a will? It's just like you said, Sean.
Exactly. They don't even have to be a broken grok clown, traumatized, broken. They can just be, oh, whoops, I got this dust blown in my face that I don't even remember. And where's my stuff? And,
yeah.
like,
And how hard is it to say, oh, well, those 3 subjects, it looks like they were pretty much brought to DC and whatever. And then, but they're saying, oh, we can't have the Bureau. So when you write about them, say, oh, unfortunately unable to employ, because there's, you know what I mean? There's just a gap from these guys are there to, because nothing the correspondence discusses that this isn't going to work out. Suddenly they're stating that, right? Which is the, right?
That was the William Ramsey Investigates mascot. That was Poppy, guys.
Oh, okay.
If you listen to my show, there's
I
a guy.
missed it.
There's a guy who listens to my show a lot, and this cat will come in and use my leg as a scratching thing. So I'll be concentrating on a show, and she'll scratch me, and I'll be like, "Ow!" And the guy will write like, "Oh, your cat attacks again." And then I had this kind of really, it's an aside, but I had this really kind of famous historian from Israel, Benny Morris, talking about a serious subject like the Holocaust of Armenians. And the cat freaking uses my back like a scratch board. And she climbed up my back with her paws and peeked over like an alien or something, looked around. And Benny Morris is like, what the hell? You should go watch it. I'll see if I can find it on my video. I didn't know what to do, but apologize. The problem is that the cats bother me if I close the door. So I'm actually I'm owned by them, so to speak.
That makes sense.
Before we go to this thing, I'd like to go through some of the comments and say hi to everybody.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
at the
please.
1 hour, 30-minute mark. We've got 213 live viewers on all the different streams. So thanks everybody for joining up and being here with us. Really appreciate it. I have a lot of really positive responses from people about this series and kind of opening people's understanding, mine included. So
yeah,
Apple says episode 4 is
so
their
much.
favorites.
Yeah.
My favorite, I think I already read this about Wong. Let me see if I can turn this off. There we go. That looks better. Kirk, Israel, Tyler Robinson was a drones bomb maker in Ukraine. What? I didn't know that.
Wow.
Ukraine is BlackRock. Who was to connect the Trump assassination BlackRock? So if they can prove Tyler Robinson was a drone bombs maker, that's incredible. He's a young guy. He's smart. I know that he scored really high in his ACT, so it's pretty weird.
He's got a trainee girlfriend. He's got to be smart.
Right, there you go. He's
you even stretch, bro?
Cutting edge. Have I visited the Hampstead? I did a lot of research on the Hampstead case. Everybody will be really disappointed on my take that the wife was faking it and she was involved in a custody battle. And there's recordings of her with a cop, and a lot of her stories don't add up. And the guy who was with her, I think they emulated the whole abuse case. And that they fled, like, supposedly persecution. One of the problems with some of these cases is they don't supply the details. And in that case, some of the details don't make sense. The tubes and going to fast food restaurants and swim zones and putting babies through the, FedEx and stuff like that. They don't seem plausible to me. She also talked, the mother, also, in my opinion, he made the snuff films, and she's from Russia, and she just was talking like Max Spears kind of conspiracy smack. And so I didn't find that Hampstead's case story all that believable.
That's also, though, disinformation too. When you put something out like that, it's highly publicized. It's fake. You know what I mean? That you've just discredited everything.
Why is it that thing? Yeah.
Right. It poisons the well. Right. Yeah.
Right. Has anybody searched mysterious deaths from the Utah morgue? Witness start falling like leaves. Yeah. Well, they're saying really heavy duty stuff regarding Kirk, the assassination, neutralized Tucker Carlson and things. That is very inflammatory language. That's very threatening language to me. So I would have extra security. Security didn't help Charlie Kirk, but
Huh. Yeah, but who were they working for?
yeah.
It's actually they were Mossad security. They worked for-
Exactly.
Sounds like a great double feature with Dark Crystal. Hey, Big, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while. Some of these guys were my old regulars back in the day. Bart, welcome. Another regular. Bush was listening to Children Read My Pit Goat on the morning of 9/11. Correct.
Right.
holding it upside down.
Yeah.
Right. Upside down and
Satanist Bill
backwards.
Schnoebelen. It's Schnoebelen mentioned seeing a person go into a pentagram and didn't come back well.
Huh.
Yeah,
Never
Jordan
heard
Peele
that.
made those other movies hinting at occultism and MKUltra. Yeah, he has a lot of
Right.
themes, and Sean has talked about those.
Right. The UFO movie one that's not really it's like a monster or whatever. The face of the monster is a extruded cube. It's the Tesseract. It's like a square and then another square and then another square being extruded out from its face. It's like the face of Satanism. It's very Jordan Peele's very smart with his symbolism. There's a lot. And Jupiter, like Jupiter and Saturn and the Jupiter winds, like that whole thing, like there's a lot going on with that movie. This other movie, him, is nothing like it. It's not, does not compare. I don't know why he allowed his name to be put on it. It's
Read PTK by Dave McGowan. We mentioned him in the series. We did the intro, Mind Control 101.
yeah.
So you
Go
can
back and listen. We talked. Yeah.
Because it's very important, like these techniques they mentioned. We mentioned Esther Brooks, McMartin, Eccles, and it's Eberly family and all these fake memory type things.
And we started, like I mentioned Russ Dizdar on part 1. You know, I was like, hey guys, this, and I'm so glad that we're still talking about him because he deserves to be talked about. He's a real hero.
Deserve to be remembered. Am I working on him? I'm always working. I have 2 documentaries on smiley face killers and a book. My most recent book is on smiley face killers, 400 pages. Wasn't Hoover getting kickbacks at the dog parks? I've heard that he's getting kickbacked at all the horse things and he was sketchy. And he used to go, my understanding is he used to go to a mob run kind of spa hotel in San Diego. And that was kind of like the connection. Something like that. It was some kind of resort, which I can't remember it. It was like Resorts International on the East Coast. But like it was mob owned, and like why would you go there if you're the so-called, big dog of law enforcement? So
right.
You can see my documentaries on my Patreon page. I posted almost all my shows there. So
right. And your new book has been getting new updates and stuff too.
Yeah,
right?
it's on its 2nd edition.
Right.
Uncle Ted says a heavy doses of sodium pentothal, a barbiturate combined with stimulants like digoxin produce total amnesia. I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that.
Think of what the government can do with total amnesia.
Right. I think they kind of do a kind of techno amnesia by controlling the media because they'll just forget stories like, oh, this is the most important story. Ukraine is bad. And then it's gone. And then like, it's almost like the whole mental field of the human beings is stripped. Like, whoa, hold on. What is that story?
No, history, it's really compressed, right? And then you get, very short, historical stuff. They're just like certain events. You know what I mean? It's like one of those cartoon maps of Disney World or whatever. Tomorrowland.
Right.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and that's like it's that level of a mental model of history, and you just basically move, like there's basically certain types of events or situations. You just put the newest thing in that same space, right? And you just, put a color of paint on it. And this is, but it's that same narrow, it's like the I Am the Cheese book, like the kids riding a bicycle around this village, just going in circles every day,
This is Derek asks, what is known of Erickson work crossing over with Crichton Miller? I don't know who Crichton Miller is, but I know William Sargent at Tavistock. Did they meet? I know that there is a nexus between you and Cameron, Sargent, and Dulles, but I don't know about Erickson. These guys are all networked. Like I said earlier, he was the head of like the hypnosis forums and Macy's, and all those guys like Hans knows about. They're all there. So
Esther Brooks is from Oxford, man. So he was part of those circles, right?
Of course.
And you have the Cambridge Circle and all that. So these were, these different social clubs, in England, and especially with universities and other types of things, are very, very powerful. I mean,
Rings within rings,
yep,
right?
like this, the Society for Psychical Research, mentioned that last week, and that's also very, very important, because that was directly became the Fabian Socialist Society. It literally morphed out of the Center for Psychical Research.
Wow.
The wolves in sheep's clothing, literally.
Yeah. We know they were giving Bundy drugs. I'm not aware of that, Uncle Ted. If you know, add more to the chat. I didn't know that he was taking heavy drugs. I know he used to get drunk before he went and killed people, but I didn't know if he was doing drugs. So.
He was he's another Ohio guy.
I have interviewed Bart Sibrel twice. I interviewed him before Joe Rogan. You can just go through to any podcast thing, Podcast Addict, Spotify, Spreaker, and just type in Sibrel, Sibrel. He's on there. Bart Sibrel, yeah. Altered State, yeah, that's the whole point of this whole thing, is we're working up to these guys. They all looked in an altered state, and a lot of them did. I mean, Chapman's obvious, and so is Sirhan.
And they stayed and waited to be arrested.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing of programmed to stay and wait to be arrested.
And some people, even the journalists, don't know the right questions to ask. Do you remember being there? Do you remember anything? Did you have gaps of your memory? Because those are real tells. When people can't remember certain things, like Bob Berdella did the same things as Dahmer. Yeah, that's right. I didn't know this either. Kelly says, I think it was scopolamine that lowered Tex Watson's IQ 20 points while he was with the Manson family, if I remember.
Wow.
If you have that fact, send that to me, please. I didn't know. I know that on the night of the Tate Manson murders, they all took meth, which is interesting. It's almost like Manson knew something. He said, here's some reds or meth, take these. Like, it's weird. And then you see Manson and his knowledge of hypnotism and Scientology, which overlaps. How much of this stuff did he know that speed makes you aggressive?
Well, and that's exactly like the experimentation that they were doing, that Manson's parole officer was doing, right? He was feeding rats LSD and methamphetamines. And then there would be one rat would become like the rat god, and the other rats would do whatever he said. Literally. I mean,
we showed that on one of our shows, right?
Yeah, we talked about that, right? The whole summer
video.
And the people were taking, there was a huge meth thing in California right at the late end of the 60s. Huge meth epidemic.
And we all know the bikers were pushing the meth, and the Grateful Dead had a biker as their lead singer, right? And they were out there pushing the meth in the concerts right along with the LSD, and the methamphetamine, we all know. We were talking about this earlier too with Jerry Marzinski, and talking about the schizophrenics, how it's the dopamine spike from the methamphetamine that gets them to see the shadow people. And when you see their eyes, then you've really gone too far, and you become ensnared in this thing or whatever. People should listen to my episode with Jerry. He's great.
Bart says scopolamine topical drop in very low dose causes the pupils to relax, dilate, so ophthalmologists can see inside the eye. Interesting. 1930s was the Cleveland Torster murder. I don't know. Albert Fish, no, Nixon. Interesting. We mentioned that guy Creepy Carpus last time, who was in jail with Manson, weird stuff. Weird Zizians. I think I mentioned Big Uncle Ted. Are the new Mansons watch? They'll make Lesotho into Charles Penn smiley face stuff. I don't know. That's for a can of beer in Vegas, Bart. They always arrive already opened. They don't even try anymore. They need to step up their psyop game.
Yeah.
Parents got to the moon. All we get is fake and gay. That's pretty close.
Yeah, pretty well said.
Yeah. Parents got to the moon. All right. Moon landing.
Yeah, we can all.
It's real,
right? Okay. That's the mind control they were given, right? At least it was an.
It was positive, yeah.
Now we're getting him, and it's oh, do you even stretch, bro? It's oh, you're so big.
Part of the personal story. Kids were abused. They had marks from where the boyfriend was hitting him in the head. You can see it on the video. So these children were not giving this statement in a sterile environment at all. They gave statements in front of cops, but the original statements were they were coming back from Morocco. It's not. Strains credulity. Rip Russ Dizdar, yes.
Yeah,
Indeed.
really.
Yeah, notoriously mob connected. I think that's the place. Dahmer's a textbook case for hypnosis states. I'm not aware of that. I've done a lot of shows on Dahmer.
Yeah, I mean, there's some very much evidence that he was SRA and he was DID, like all of that.
Wow.
People need to look into that. He's really a textbook case. Yeah.
Sep Testa says, "Hey Hans, good to see you in good company. Big up, fellas. Thanks, Sep Testa. Thanks for listening, everybody." All right, that's all the comments, so that we can go to this. If anybody wants to read this or whatever, I sent you the cop. Oh, I'm gonna get off this.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got it. Or Hans can take over.
I can read
I
through
can
it. I
read.
can scan through it. Whatever.
Yeah, I'll read it. It's my turn.
Okay.
Sean,
Alice in Wonderland. Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. Go ahead, dude. Go
it's
ahead.
my turn, bro. Come on, dude. Let's get snarky.
You even
We're
stretched,
at the
bro.
2-hour
you're so
mark, so
good.
it's time for people
Okay,
to start
okay.
getting tested
So
and scanned.
okay. So this looks like a pretty hi-fi PowerPoint. So we'll just start it here. So the Alice in Wonderland technique, exploring the influence of CIS methods and Ericksonian hypnosis in modern mass manipulation. And so this is actually like a clip, that movie that Sean Connery was in with this giant head like floating in space. Zardoz. Yeah, that's a great with that. Yeah, that's
with the loincloth. He's like up there and floating in the sky.
Zardoz is actually a great film.
I think
But anyways,
there's a picture of the headless giant too, right? Isn't
Oh,
that like
yeah.
a totally occult, like headless giant is like from the French guy, I can't remember his name. Shoot. He had a totally dark secret society. It's unbelievable stuff. It's mentioned in Program to Kill. I can't remember his name right now. But
okay.
A
he
good friend of
influenced
mine
Burroughs.
uses the moniker Headless Giant.
Yeah, it's a deep occult reference, people.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Understanding modern manipulation. This presentation delves into the Alice in Wonderland technique, a method used by the CIA, and the innovative hypnosis techniques of Milton H. Erickson. It will highlight their application in contemporary mass psychology, particularly written online and social media platforms. Particularly within online and social media platforms, showcasing how these strategies influence perceptions and behaviors. I don't have my glasses and I cannot read that text, so you can go ahead.
I'll do it. Manipulative disorientation. The Alice in Wonderland technique utilizes disorientation to influence and alter perceptions, making it easier for the target to accept suggestions without critical analysis. Wow, sounds like modern media. This is a coercive method that creates a surreal atmosphere, creating confusion, leading to compliance with directives or suggestions. Literary inspiration. The technique draws inspiration from the literary work Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, where the protagonist experiences a series of bizarre and illogical events. The literary influence is reflected in the method's ability to create a dreamlike state that alters reality for the individual. Historical context and relevance. Through the use of this technique, the CIA aimed to explore mind control and behavioral manipulation, particularly during the Cold War era, as part of various psychological operations. The technique remains relevant in understanding contemporary manipulation tactics in both military and civilian contexts.
That painting by Otto Dix is huge. Like everybody should pay attention to that painter, Otto Dix.
Why is it huge? I don't know.
He's German. He was a German soldier in World War I, and he was a painter during World War II, and he depicted the state of society that was happening to everything around him, and he did not hold back in his depictions. This right here, these are World War I soldiers that came home from war, and they have no arms or legs. One of them is asking for money. Yeah, Grok, right. And one of them is asking for money. He's real sad. The other one is wearing a business tie, but he's still on a skateboard. like going through town in the city, you know, like, oh, gotta go on my skateboard, and he's wearing a nice like suit, and you know, it says there on the paper, it talks about the war and the soldiers dying and stuff, and so, and then if you look behind in the in the window, it's like a sex shop with like some kind of weird, you know what I'm saying? Like this is Weimar, you know, this is what was happening. And if you want to see what was really going on, everybody should check out Otto Dix, Ottodix. That's the painter. Really, you'll learn a lot.
Oh, I just read these. Actually, these are the big ones. So I just read the small ones. So we just went through that. Manipulative disorientation, literary inspiration, historical context, and relevance.
Okay.
So the smaller things will be bigger in the later.
Oh,
slide.
right. We can
Okay.
keep reading.
Okay. Yeah. So you want? Can I read or?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
you
yeah.
got it, man.
All
You
right,
got
this
it. You get out there and be somebody. Sorry.
I'm a millennial.
Yeah, yeah. Right,
I'm standing up for the millennials. No,
keep turning that knife. It'll work.
So a history and origins of the Alice in Wonderland technique, tracing the development of a psychological strategy from Cold War experiments to modern applications. 1950s. The CIA initiates MKUltra program focusing on mind control research through unconventional techniques, including hypnosis and sensory deprivation, the theory of coercion. So this is, and they have the CIA project. MKUltra is the CIA's program of research and behavioral modification, joint hearing before the Select Committee on Intelligence, 1977, focusing on events that happened over 12 or as long as 25 years ago. 1960s. The Alice in Wonderland technique is formalized as a method for creating disorientation and manipulating perceptions in subjects. CIA Kubrick counterintelligence interrogations.
Kubark is a pseudonym for the CIA. So they have like a Kubark assassination.
Okay.
manual.
Kubark counterintelligence interrogation, July 1963. Released January 25th, released February 25th. I cursed myself. Released July 1963. There was released February 25th, 2014. 1970s. These techniques developed under MKUltra, including the Alice in Wonderland technique, began to influence wider psychological practices and military strategies. In Chapter 18 of the Handbook of Investigative Hypnosis, entitled Additional Induction Techniques, Direct and Indirect, Reiser includes a lengthy section on Ericksonian's naturalistic induction techniques that was taken from Erickson's article published in the American Journal of Clinical Hypnosis, 1958, Volume 1, pages 3 through 8. He also discusses Erickson's indirect rehearsal observation and pantomime techniques. The bibliography includes 7 citations from Erickson's writings and a citation of personal correspondence in 1978. The book includes transcripts of a hypnosis session and sketches made by artists of witnesses under hypnosis. Go ahead.
Please continue. Go ahead.
Must be interesting to see the art of someone under hypnosis and like how you can control that. Like that's right brain actions. It must be interesting to see.
Yeah. Yeah, and we could maybe look at some of these specific techniques too, that he mentioned, the pantomime and observation technique. But anyways, continuing. History and origin of the Alice in Wonderland technique, tracing the development of a psychological strategy from Cold War experiments to modern applications. Okay. Innovative approaches to hypnosis by Milton H. Erickson. Milton H. Erickson revolutionized hypnosis by emphasizing the use of the unconscious mind as a powerful tool for personal transformation. His methods prioritize indirect suggestion and storytelling, which engage clients' receptiveness to change and healing. So, and then key principles of his hypnosis. So indirect suggestion. Indirect suggestion involves subtly giving a subject's thoughts and behaviors without direct commands. I'll read that again. Indirect suggestion involves subtly guiding a subject's thoughts and behaviors without direct commands, enabling them to arrive at their own conclusions and insights. This method respects the autonomy of the individual and fosters a deeper connection to the therapeutic process. But I mentioned how that also works in terms of certain types of trigger stimuli, right below the sensory threshold, and in the narrative arc of the story will have you bind those things together, and it seems like it's an indirect suggestion, but you've done it yourself, right? So anyways, so this is kind of his grandfatherly self-help guru, Mr. You know what I mean, like positive guy, right? Positive thinking, just as big Father Christmas, you know, big fat dude with a white beard. Anyway, so storytelling. Can you scroll up, William? Do you mind? I get the comments are below there.
You're on storytelling right here.
Yes,
right?
yep. Storytelling. Storytelling is a powerful tool in Ericksonian hypnosis as it engages the subject's imagination and allows them to explore personal challenges and solutions through metaphor. This approach helps individuals process their experiences in a non-threatening way. But there's a lot. Okay, we can Go ahead. You want to say, Sean? You're muted.
I'm muted. Sorry, guys. Think about how the SRA, how that is such importance for the SRA people, because they need to create their own story. They need to create the internal world, you know, and sure, there's the Alice in Wonderland, like, kind of outline of like, oh, there are these trees where you can take down a lunchbox and open it up and eat what's inside, you know. That's like a metaphor for the programming and to internalize the programming, you know. And so this is, and it's programming themselves into this trance of the story of believing the internal worlds of the castles and the towers and the whatever, you know, the dungeons and the all of that other stuff that keeps the different selves of the dissociative identities in their places, you know. Some of them live in the dungeon, some of them are up on the tower, like they're, you know, they're doing different jobs and they have different roles inside and they keep different. Anyway, it that is very important. The storytelling and the imaginative, intelligent imagination is important for the victims to create in their minds. So
Okay.
I think this just shows how complex it is. Like, you say the word hypnosis, and if you're not acquainted with it, it may just come off as like this simple thing of a guy talking and inducing stuff. It's a really vast subject matter. Like, it's like,
Yeah, no,
just like we read earlier tonight, where it said there's 20 years of research ahead of us with the resources that we have available. Like, there really is a sophisticated, complex, ornate, encyclopedic amount of information with what they can do, and it's all been kept from the public. It's all surface level stuff.
Yeah, and then again, you know, as I mentioned, I mean, like earlier, and also the first Macy conference was cerebral inhibition, which is hypnosis, but a very different way to posit that. And then the fact is that the person can, as some of the earlier brain research showed, is that with the strobe, they're using the strobe lights, inducing trances, this kind of thing, is that someone can be in a hypnotic trance and their brain EKG activity is normal and they are talking normally and they're not even aware that they are under a hypnotic trance. So this is something people do not recognize, right? It's that you can be in a hypnotic state and have no, obviously if you're unconscious, but I mean, it's like it can exist as like a veil over the consciousness that is invisible, but yet you are still hypnotized.
It's so scary, dude. It's like
COVID, dude. COVID. What is, dude? Come on, where's your mask?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's and that's the whole thing about mass formation psychosis or mass formation hypnosis is that people were really influenced like zombies,
Right.
almost like you said, or maybe they don't even know that they're just repeating trigger phrases, safe and effective, and where's your mask, and keep grandma safe. Just
And
these are kind of almost like hypnotic suggestions over and over.
they're in a hypnotic trance and they're functioning normally. Okay. And that's the thing. You can be in an operative hypnotic trance and still even have your normal conscious mind. It's not yet you are still in a hypnotic trance of one degree or other. And that's just important to note. Okay, go.
A somnambulist, like before. And if anybody who knows about movies, they know about The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, is 1920 German silent film about a guy who controls a sleepwalker to do evil, like, and that was in 1920. So those
know that.
ideas, yeah, The Cabinet of Dr.
I'll have to check that
Caligari.
out.
Check it out. It's pretty cool.
Was that other movie about the lady who has what was that guy? Dr. Svengali. Dr. Svengali.
Bengali.
Yeah, that was another like a black and white movie. I forget the name of it, where he's hypnotizes the woman, and all this stuff, and he's got the eyes, the mesmerizing eyes, and all that. And that was what? That was even before, around the same time.
Right.
I forget. Sorry about.
Look at this. Look at this, guys. This is really creepy out. Look at in the context of our conversation, look at the poster for the film.
Right. There it is. Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
It's like the imagery of the Svengali dark actor and the person prone and prostrate.
So the person in black is the somnambulist, the person who sleepwalks, and that woman is a victim of his evil. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
It's really interesting that, Germany was thinking about these things a long time ago.
Right. We just went through that tonight, right?
Yeah. There was the.
This is almost like the same visual from the thing we just watched, right? Like, just in the intro to this slideshow was like that same. It looks like
the Otto Dix,
yeah.
right? Similar, right? Yeah. Well, they were contemporaries of each other. Like Otto Dix was making paintings in the 20s, in the 30s.
There's that same type of motif. The big city right there. Maybe it's me.
You should look up Otto Dix, like soldier on the battlefield, and it's just like this torn apart face in anguish. It's just like, oh my God, it's really powerful stuff. Yeah, go ahead, Hans.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and so again, of course, yes, storytelling, generating a narrative, right? Having these can be very beneficial, but I would never get hypnotherapy, man. You don't know. And so, yes, it can be positive and therapeutic, but it also can, when you get the storytelling, you end up living in your imagination. Right? You're actually subconsciously living like you're on the set of Friends or the greatest American hero or whatever. And, and so you don't register what you're taking in around the events of the world around you are going through this filter of this, especially if it's a subconscious story. If this story is subconscious, completely operating, or you can and there's barriers to touch the story. You get too close to the story, you get zapped, right? It's like electrical fence. But
it's like QAnon or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So continuing, building rapport. You mind scrolling up, William? Okay. Building rapport is crucial in Ericksonian techniques as trust enhances receptiveness to suggestions. Establishing a strong connection with the subject fosters a therapeutic alliance, promoting a safe space for change and healing. How do you build rapport in NLP? You start mirroring and modeling their physical posture. You look at the cues of what sensory modalities, whatever they're doing. You match your breathing pattern with them. You master the gestural posture. Once you get that link, basically you got like in entrainment, you establish that, then you can start changing them then you start, because then they're unconsciously, you start by locking into them, right? But because they're experiencing this unconsciously, you then, once they are sort of, you build the rapport, which means actually you have kind of phase locked, right? You're doing modeling, you're doing this imitation, you're doing this thing. Then you, as you change, then you can direct them. You can change their postures. You can change this. And this is also used in the pickup artist applications of NLP as well.
That's what Crowley did with that thing where he was like, "Oh, look at that guy," and he started walking like him on the sidewalk, and then Crowley tripped, and then the man tripped, and it was like that sympathetic magic or whatever. The same idea, what you're talking about. Aleister Crowley, he did this thing on
Right. No, it's in my book. I wrote about it in Prophet of Evil. I forgot the guy's name that witnessed him do it, but he basically said, "Hey, watch this," and he did it, and it affected this other person. Like a guy wrote about it.
Right.
I forgot his name. Gosh.
The breathing together, that's something we were talking about that earlier. I think in one of the earlier episodes, we were talking about this self-help guy that was talking about how you breathe to get. Who was it? It was the guy with the teeth, the big guy with the teeth. Self-help. What's his face?
Wim Hof.
No, not, I'm talking about.
What's his name? He looks like a mutant. Tony Robinson.
Tony Robbins.
He's a success mutant, dude. That dude is so.
People to breathe the same and to like influence your partner, and it's some weird shit. And it's like tantra magic. It's like I read about it in Cult and Occult. This. Ancient Eastern magic, like so yeah, it's important shit.
Well,
I just wanted to tie all that together.
This particular group, which I won't call them a cult, but I was involved in them, not whatever, we'll go into it. But one thing they were doing, there's a book called On Breathing, and what they recommend is you tape your mouth shut when you sleep so you don't breathe through your mouth. And people walk around with tape on their mouth. And that is not a good idea in my estimation. And the thing about breathing techniques and breathing, right? Breathing is something that it will happen naturally, right? You can get all kinds of different altered states through breathing. You can also really screw up your nervous system and your psychology. You can raise too much energy, some of that Kundalini stuff. You can fry out your neurons or your nervous system. But also if you're constantly, okay, I'm breathing, I'm calm. Okay. Take a deep breath. Okay. You're not really, right? So, no, but that happens. And then this is how you get the self-hypnosis. You're telling yourself you're calm when you're actually not calm. And you are detuning from your central nervous system. And then, people get these layers of repressed things, right? You know what I mean? And so this is really a big part of this and why there's so many psychological problems. Because you know what? Whatever, man. Just relax. Anyways.
Get over it. Okay. So the Alice in Wonderland technique.
I think these are repetitive. This one's repetitive. I think that's from earlier, but you can reread them if you want.
Okay. So, but understanding mass psychology, if you want to go, so this, what is the TV? What is the radio? We were talking about this in earlier episodes too. This mass psychosis device, right? That's in your home, infiltrated into your living room, that you trust. Right, we're talking about that is a very important thing. And the fireside chats, it was grandpa at the fire, and telling you what to think, and so that this is important. How they have these technological devices, and now the level of technology, I don't know what's happening. Like, it's just too much now that you can't deep fakes. Like, what they got the Queen of England doing break dances and like. How do you know anything is true and real? Like AI, Jesus, like the whole world is just a soup, and you can't make any sense of anything anymore. And like everybody's
we're in Alice in Wonderland now, baby.
Yeah. Whoa, like you're right. Jesus. So, okay, all right. I just want to bring up the technology because that's really important because that was happening around the same time as just 37 and like that's when the radio and the TV started really working.
Did
Yeah.
you read this one, Understanding Mass Psychology? I wasn't paying attention.
I think it's kind of
Okay, so are we in disorientation
yeah.
and marketing? Okay.
And before you read that, so one thing people mentioned like Vegas. So there's whole vast psychological literature on the carpets in Vegas. Okay, the patterns of the carpets, and I mean, and this is very well researched how they design. Notice, like you go to IKEA, I always get friggin' lost in IKEA, man. It's like, well, get out of this place, man.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you, bro.
No, even I've noticed even in grocery stores that they'll change the aisle layout. You go and you hear, no, it's here, it's there, it's there. So this disorientation is very, very important, right? And then also, well, anyways, go ahead. But disorientation is physical, spatial, and even as William mentioned, deep fakes, over onslaught, over mass information overload that creates disorientation.
Yeah, the 24-hour news, that crap, that like all CNN and yeah.
I'll tell you my Vegas story. I was in the Venetian. I was just walking through Vegas, and it looks like Alice in Wonderland. If you look at the interior designs, it's all kinds of like mushrooms and weird branches and statuaries. And after like 2 minutes, I couldn't figure out where north, south, east, and west were. I literally, and I have pretty good spatial like designation there. I usually always know where my center of north was. I literally was like, how do I get the funk out of here? I had no idea. I was like, wow, this is really, and I consciously recognized they did it deliberately. Like there's weird turns and things like that so that you have no idea after a few minutes which way is north south, because so many buildings are built on the north, south, east, west axes, right? It's incredible. Go walk through the Venetian, you'll blow your mind.
If anybody is familiar with Bonnaroo, which is this big festival, it's like Woodstock every year in Tennessee, whatever, and they get like 80,000 people every year. And it started off as like, the other ones and the Grateful Dead remainder people would be there, and there'd be jazz, and it was fun. But now it's like corporate Radiohead and all that. But the way that they set it up, and it's a permanent place, so every year it's like this. The name, there's many stages, and everybody's playing at once. And they got the main stage is called the Which stage, and then the other main stage is the What stage. And then there's the where tent and the when, and it's like, so people are trying to figure out where they get dosed out and on heavy hallucinogens the first time or whatever, they're at the concert, and then they're trying to find, oh, I gotta go see AC/DC, but then they end up seeing like Guar by accident because they get lost, you know what I mean? But the disorientation is part of it. It's like part of the way that it's built, so that they can't even ask, where is that? Because the which tent, what tent, and then people play with you while you're tripping and like, what, who, where, and it's really disorientating, on purpose for the people that are tripping,
Right, and that's the whole connection here, is that disorientation enhances suggestibility, right?
Yes,
Part of the Ericksonian technique.
Right, along with the scopolamine and whatever else they're giving the poor kids.
We used to believe they were fatal. We used to think this was fatal.
Look at them rolling in the mud.
Look, 6 kilograms of scopolamine, he's still alive.
Yeah, dude, I mean, it's funny, like, just the regular heroin that I had seen, like regular little kids with like a finger of heroin in a bag. And I mean, you don't see that. Like, it's ridiculous, the levels. Anyway, yeah, they were really, there was a lot of drugs, man. And like
at Bonnaroo.
Yeah, I mean, Bonnaroo, everywhere, like all that whole thing, like everywhere you go, all the kids had like a finger of dope. Like, what, there used to be like little packets with like a point, like a tenth of a gram or some shit, and they have a couple bags of that in the like it's a big bust, and now there's like 2-3 grams on like one little kid that it's like holy crap, it's unbelievable, like which is fatal. It would be fatal, but these people are like, I knew kids that a spoon is too small. They would have to cook it in their dope in the bottom of a can of a soda can because it's big. They didn't have enough room in the spoon to cook all that dope. It's like, and they're every day shoving it like, and now with the fentanyl and the trank, all that, like the people should be dead. I'm surprised that humans have survived all of this onslaught of drugs.
There's a lot of them now. Hans, you got a fan here. Philosophy. Hans has done amazing work. I followed his work for years.
Thank you. And I've so far earned $1.22. So I'm really proud of that. And in 1901, I could probably have bought a donkey or a goat with that money. But as it is now, I'm happy.
Go check him out at the Resonant State.
Yeah, help me out, man. I got $1.22. But
you better spend that $1.22 because
I'm never spending it, dude. I'm so proud of it. But
because if you don't spend it now, it's going to be worthless.
But
no clocks in Vegas casinos. That's true too, right?
Yeah,
true. Yeah, and the oxygen levels, right?
Temporal
you're
distortion.
in this kind of almost like a hypnotic box inside of like a casino. Like you're voluntarily walking in there.
But they have these
or whatever. Yeah.
But just in terms of the drugs and stuff, right? So I mean, just now, I'll walk across. Literally, I could see it from my window, from my porch. I'm there. There we go. Come on, guys, help me out.
Come on, Resonant State. Please check out and subscribe to my new YouTube channel and Rumble.
Next show, I'll be eating cardboard and wearing a barrel at this rate.
I guess have a donate page. You donate.
I don't know if it works, but
you can go back and listen to our Soviet Cybernetics series. Was it MK's the Music? What was the title of that one, Hans?
MK Ultra for the Masses.
That's right, MK Ultra for the Masses. Those are great. So check them all out.
But now, dude, like, okay, you get the Delta 9, right? You get the seltzer. You get a seltzer. They have 10 milligrams, 20 milligrams, 50 milligrams, 200, 1,000 milligrams of THC, and 1,000 friggin' milligrams. I mean, that is insane, man. I mean, seriously, like, okay, well, maybe for you, but I mean, I had like a 50 and I was like staring at
I get it.
I was talking to the moon. Hello, moon.
You gotta
my wife's like, what's wrong with you? I'm just, but I mean,
that's all that Damien Eccles was doing. He was wearing a black t-shirt saying hello, moon.
He's not a Satanist.
What do you mean?
I'm a demonologist. Okay. But think about that. I mean, some dude got 1,000 milligrams in one dose. Like that is okay, maybe for the Olympic level weed consumer, but I mean that's an insane amount of. But I mean that is like a vast amount. And then they have kratom things the same, and you can just walk and buy them off the counter. I mean these are they're not just like you're getting a mild buzz. You're just getting friggin' blasted.
Very hammered to get off of. I just learned that kratom is very hard to kick as a habit. It's like worse than dope or cigarettes or something. It's like very hard. So beware, all you people that see kratom at every, I mean, like at the head shops, they'll also sell you some salvia that's like 80x salvia. And, I smoked that stuff and I was two-dimensional. I was part of the wall. There was 1,000 of me in front of me, and there was 1,000 of me behind in infinite directions, and they were falling out of the wall. I mean, that's a true memory, and this is what you can get legal at the head shop. It's the scariest thing I ever did, and no one should do salvia, especially ADX. But I mean, that's the kind of doses that people are getting on if they want to go even from the store. They can go to the store and get that, and then they can get the bath salts. Like I was in Tennessee in like 2009, they had bath salts. You could get a gram of bath salt. What is it? it's not for human consumption. Wink, wink. Like, okay, like, what do you do with it? Like, and then if you learn about the Chinese labs, that like when one chemical gets illegal, they just make another one that's slightly a little bit different in a laboratory, whatever, does the same thing in the brain. It's legal completely, just like you were saying, the THC, um the hemp derived THC, now that they have THC delta 8, yeah, that stuff, and like it's derived from hemp, which is intentionally has low THC levels. That's the plant is created to have low THC just for its fibers, and they legalize that. And then they're like, oh, look, we're getting it. It's actually from cannabis, guys. But they have to do some really weird science to, it's a lab experiment. But that's what you get from when government makes drugs illegal. It's silly.
It's always an element of control and money involved. It always is. It always is.
Very well said.
The fact that alcohol is legal and weed isn't is crazy, because alcohol is way worse.
Yeah. No, but
they want to kill people. It's a death cult. Of course, alcohol. Right?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, though, that like if you just go and say someone who has some psychological issues, maybe, I guess there's, a lot of people do, and that sucks. It really sucks. But then you go and I'm just going to take some salvia and drink one can of seltzer that's 1,000 milligrams.
Right.
Goodbye.
Wow.
I mean,
good luck. Incredible. Yeah, they were eating a face like on the streets of Florida. Like some homeless guy.
You get Philadelphia, man. Look at Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's trank dope though. That's not even people do it anymore. It's the trank.
The trank where is that like croc where your flesh rots off?
That's in Russia. They do that.
No, they have that in U.S. now too.
Yeah, it's called crocodile.
Crocodile. That's in the U.S. also.
That's from an eye. It's like an eye drop that dries out your eyes or something, for people that tear all the time, that always cry. And it's like drying out their skin. It makes them look like crocodile scales and shit. Their legs fall off, but it has a heroin effect. It has an opiate effect. That's what they're seeking. But heroin's illegal, so you gotta have crocodile skin. So like, it's so stupid. Anyway, and
let's get through these slides and wrap it up. We're at the 2.5 hour mark.
Really my gosh! Yep.
Who's going to do storytelling and for connection?
All right, here. Go ahead if you want to keep going, but I'll take over. Are you there, Hans? Are you muted?
Okay. Storytelling for connection. Ericksonian hypnosis techniques, such as storytelling and indirect suggestion, are employed in social media narratives to foster deeper connections with audiences. By using relatable stories, brands enhance user engagement and influence purchasing decisions. And I might add, if you use actual Ericksonian hypnosis, you're going to embed hypnotic suggestions and commands in that storytelling. So it can go much, much deeper than just, oh, look, it's a Teletubby. Okay. Emotion.
Think about the reality TV and that whole thing of like what they were influencing, how they were, the MTV thing with all the people living in a house, and that, they're telling the story and everybody can relate to them and they're normal people. Oh, there's a girl and a guy and a black one and an Asian one, and that whole thing that's the same idea. And even Trump was in it, that like reality TV was a whole thing, like a whole genre of mind control, right?
Well, I mean, it's like that, it's like the Truman Show almost, right? So your life becomes like a Truman Show, but also reality TV. I mean, I was on a couple just like extra parts in a few reality TV shows, and what you see when you see the episode and what it's actually like, they edit that stuff for drama. They'll even just create these parallel storylines within that. But I mean, it is like, you talk about the distortion of psychosocial, perception into the blender of reality TV, man. I mean, reality TV is pretty powerful, I mean,
It's in the name itself. People think it's reality. I know a guy who's a producer, and they'd have the actors like say lines and then splice them into something just to like do stuff. It was totally fake.
Wow.
Totally fake. Oh yeah, it's super manipulative. Super manipulative.
I knew that they would like turn the can of soda towards the camera while they drink and stuff, and they would, have fake fights like Hans was saying.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely
crazy.
fake.
They would
Totally fake. They would like some of the actors would ask like the producers, "Do you want me to overreact?" Like all kinds of weird stuff like that.
Yeah, and they all had cocaine in the bathroom too. I knew that. Like, I knew people that were on the Road Rules show or whatever one season that fucking so much drugs. Excuse my language, but there was a lot of drugs there too.
Not surprised at all.
you want to give me okay. Emotional Emotional resonance. A combination of these psychological strategies helps in creating persuasive advertisements that resonate emotionally with users, leading to increased brand loyalty and consumer action. Okay, you can go ahead, William. You can read. I'll stop.
All right, case studies of manipulation in online environments, analyzing successful applications of psychological techniques in digital spaces. 2016, a viral social media campaign utilized the Alice in Wonderland technique to create a disorienting narrative, leading to mass engagement and sharing. I don't know what they're referencing. 2018, a political campaign employed indirect suggestion techniques similar to Ericksonian hypnosis, effectively swaying undecided voters through targeted ads. Not surprised. 2020, an online misinformation campaign used disorienting narratives akin to the Alice in Wonderland technique to confuse users and alter perceptions of reality. That happens all the time. People get totally confused which way is up and down. That happens.
Trust the plan.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Trust the plan.
2021, social media influencers applied Ericksonian principles to craft persuasive narratives that resonated deeply with followers, leading to increased engagement. So,
A little general though. Like, what's your reference?
I don't know what it is, but this stuff is happening, guys. They're literally using hypnotic techniques on people. There's no question. All right, let's see. Ethical implications of psychological manipulation. The application of psychological manipulation techniques, such as the Alice in Wonderland technique and Ericksonian hypnosis, brings forth critical ethical dilemmas. These techniques can be used to influence behavior and decision-making, raising questions about consent, autonomy, and the potential for harm. In therapeutic settings, the focus should be on the client's well-being, whereas in mass communication, the risk of exploitation and misinformation becomes a pressing concern. Conclusion and future implications. You guys want to finish this out? Close.
Sure.
It is. I'll be honest. It's a little bit lightweight in terms of, but actually the actual connection of Alice in Wonderland technique with Ericksonian hypnosis, if it's actually brought forth. You know what I mean? Actually, what it is. Yeah. And it's end of his life. He's this grandfatherly guy, and you go talk to him and you leave and you feel great. But I mean, he would just, he would induce anybody to do anything and they wouldn't even know it through this. It was amazingly powerful type of hypnotic stuff. Again, with these stories creating parallel, using the narrative structure of human consciousness in various ways, and then you create parallel narratives, and so then you have an entirely different narrative, right? And he can, you know what I mean? So, and this is very much used, I think, in media and everything like that, right? So it is quite powerful. I was a little bit, in 2021, a man was, anyways, it's okay.
But you're right though. The general idea is sound, and where he's going with it, and the idea is that this L. Ron Hubbard used Alice in Wonderland technique. Also, William, you sent me that document of the Scientology method of Alice in Wonderland technique. Is this other one that's also related? I don't know if you.
That's where it gets scary. Is like they're using Ericksonian techniques inside of Scientology, along with everything else. That's what's like, whoa, heavy intel stuff.
Right. and then Manson, and then all of that other stuff, like in Scientology, and and the best friends, and like what is I guess we're getting towards the end here. I guess I don't want to off track. I was too much.
Lisa, my cat's name is Poppy. All of my animals got named after flowers because I have 2 daughters. I don't have a choice. I don't get to name my pets. So I've got Rosie, Poppy, Sage. That's it.
That's beautiful.
But those other ones are too shy. Poppy likes the limelight, and she likes to draw blood. She's a very aggressive cat. She's literally drawn like a pint of my blood. All right, let's get this over.
Maybe she's doing some kind of ritual you don't know about when she's.
I hope not. I hope not. She's not
the other room.
Which is familiar. It's one of the dark awakenings.
Right? The witch is familiar to go suck a teat off of somebody else. Like,
no, she's like a little psycho cat. She has really nasty, like chaos magician behavior. I'll be asleep on the couch, and she gets up on the windowsill while I'm asleep and then dive bombs onto my stomach. Like, she doesn't dive bomb onto my legs or my chest. She intentionally goes for like the soft underbelly, and she's done it like 10 times. Like, I'll be totally asleep. She does it for just to piss me off, man. She does all this stuff to make me angry. It's really good. You wouldn't believe it. She has like a really like a Dennis the Menace personality. It's something else.
You're really lucky to have her, though. I'm good.
Yeah, she's a great cat. Yeah. She's like a stray cat. We bought her off the street. Anyway, that's Poppy. That's my mascot. I'll get my Big Hug mug picture and Poppy up on social media tomorrow. I got my Big Hug mug in the mail. And for people who like True Detective, you'll know exactly what that reference is. Anyway, let's finish this out. Come on. I'm tired. I'm hungry.
All right. Yeah, this has been fun. Here. Okay. Where are we at? Influence on behavior and decision making. The integration of the Alice in Wonderland technique and Ericksonian hypnosis highlights the powerful influence of psychological manipulation on individual behaviors and group dynamics. Understanding these techniques is crucial for recognizing their potential impact on decision-making process. And like just reading what we were reading before in the beginning and understanding the potential of that is really where, I mean, that is like much heavy.
Well, think about exact example of Alice in Wonderland is changing rules. Oh, you can come in here. You can wear this. You don't have to wear this. You have to wear this. You don't have to wear this. This, you know what I mean? And so how these things are changing and shifting, this creates that distortion. And then you feed in Ericksonian stuff. So that's actually very interesting to see applying these two sort of directions together is quite powerful.
Evolving media strategies.
As social media continues to evolve, the application of the psychological techniques will likely become more sophisticated, and they have, right? We can see that as evident. The future developments may further blur the lines between persuasion and manipulation, making it imperative for users to remain vigilant. And if anybody remembers Harari,
Novi Harari, what's his
right?
Yuval,
right? Yuval Harari. That guy says that there is no free will, and people are automatons that can be controlled. And like this, he's just stating it. This is what this is too, right? I mean,
yes.
Wow.
I don't think there's a blurred line. It's all manipulation. I think they're past persuasion. They're just straight manipulating people. Like when you watch the regular media, even the kind of like the leading figures in like alternate media, I think they're just deliberately manipulating people. Like I was watching Ben Shapiro. It's like this guy does nothing's coming out of his mouth. It's persuasive. He's just trying to manipulate. It's evil and blah blah blah. And these people are bad.
No, that's probably Ericksonian.
Yeah.
Ericksonian hypnosis, he very well be doing that. Like I said, notice things like that, especially when you listen to something and you kind of space out and you realize, like, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, I just missed like 5 minutes of that. You know what I mean? So yeah, because you can go into a trance, and like I said, it is. I mean, I guess the main thing is just bring more to consciousness, right? More clarification of consciousness and clear input of your nervous system, sensory input, real world, concrete, and just be able to come back right, to the here and now, direct, embodied, somatic. You know what I mean?
Right, but if you're knowledgeable about this stuff, it's kind of like an inoculation. Like, is
Yeah.
this person rationally trying to engage me in goodwill, or is he manipulating me in dark persuasion for his will? Like, and you see and the other thing is like the kind of like memetics and stuff like that are very powerful because you could see it in COVID where everybody's kind of, you just see it like this mass formation of the same kind of
Yeah.
axioms or mantras or things like that. It's just incredible. Like if
We
people
saw
knew
it
this
with-
stuff, they wouldn't be Rocky and the Clowns, right?
Right. We saw with 9/11, and then they did it again with COVID, and this doing the same thing. It's like, what? The people, what? They believe this crap? Like,
Well, and I hate to criticize the big orange dude, but I mean his I was told not to criticize him by the boss, just so I don't get in trouble. I get the white van, they're taking me away. No, but he says one thing and then he says the next exact opposite a day later. This is like one pill makes you larger, one pill makes you small. Like it is, it's like it's very surreal, and it's extremely disorienting, especially when you're looking at what's at stake, right? Like the future of the planet Earth, maybe.
Right. I've heard that they do that to create debility and dread, is that they deliberately give you opposite messages within a short time frame to just like make you give up. Like, I don't even know which one is right. I think that's a technique, but so I've heard.
Yeah. Well, that's our minds are putty, like the so engage
world
with
controllers.
Right. I mean, we're all Grok the Clown. You said that before we started, but like all the normies out there are
Oh my God, dude.
Grok the Clown.
Dude, this guy, what he just stated, used to sell shiitake mushrooms. The first Grateful Dead show I went to, I bought a bag of shrooms. Bag of shiitake shrooms. And everyone was laughing at me. It's probably that dude.
But were you hypnotically triggered to just think you were high?
No, some like creepy dude. I think I was like 15, and some creepy older guy who was like a carpenter, but he wore like these overalls, and the guy was really creepy. And he took me to the show, and then he's like, "Where's your money?" I said, "I bought these shrooms." and
Bloodhound Town said, Sean, I had a very similar experience to Sean at 60 times. Is that
60x? That's like the salvia. If you smoke a normal amount of salvia just off the plant, it's 1x.
Okay.
So what they do is like 1 times the potency. And so they, in a lab, they like compound the potency so that you get, and then they like spray it on like this like just chonga, like this. It's just like basically tobacco, the inert material that you burn in a bowl like weed, and it's the same thing as the K2 where they just spray it on inert material. It's this liquid chemical that people are smoking. It's really sick. But anyway, the 60x is too much. 80x, what was I thinking? Like my first time, I never tried it, dude. And
how long were you out for?
It's quick. It's like 15 minutes, you're back to normal.
You're back to normal.
But like 6 or 7 minutes is like really peak. My cat, I had a cat at the time. My cat like saw me fall from the wall. Like I actually fell down, and then like I was 3-dimensional again. And my cat was looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, I'm sorry, cat. Like his name is Maceo. And but anyway, it was very scary. And everybody I ask, and everybody that I've ever like done, like, oh yeah, hallucinogens, you like hallucinogens. Okay, well, you ever tried salvia though? Like, it's just like it's always a story. And like one of my best friends talks about how he was cut in half. His whole body was divided in 2. And he was like, oh my God. Like it's the fucking scariest thing in the world. Yeah, dude, salvia. And that's why it's legal, because it's so goddamn scary. That's my opinion of that.
Those are those are traumas too, right?
Yes.
I mean, and I know one guy who he did something similar to that. I mean, my husband, as far as I know, maybe, for at least 10 years or whatever, he was gone. He may be better now, but as far as I know, I think he's.
He was gone from what? Say that again.
No, I mean his mind is gone.
The salvia did it.
From too much salvia.
I guess so. I don't know. Something.
Was it one hit? Did it drive him into psychosis, or was it multiple?
I wasn't. It wasn't a direct. Friend of mine was a friend of my younger brother, but I guess he thought this guy. He thought his neighbor was Satan, and his other neighbor was God.
Oh,
And then he was trying to kill Satan, and he was in a state of psychosis so much he got institutionalized, and that's it's probably better not to do that.
I would say psychedelics or roll the dice, guys.
That dude, LSD is much more easy on your brain than salvia divinorum. 80x, anyway. But I'm just saying that that what's his name, Terrence McKenna, he promoted salvia. He was pushing salvia. That was his whole thing. Dude, you can do it legal.
What an asshole.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Talk about NLP. Terrence McKenna is not, that guy was very shifty and it did a lot of damage actually to people. You know what I mean? Because people trust somebody, right?
Else, right.
But
and Leary for that matter. A lot of these guys did a lot of people wrong.
But Leary,
I apparently like this ayahuasca trend. Like some people receive these, heavenly, visions, but then other people are thrown into freaking the 9th level of hell. Like it's a roll of the dice. I don't know what the basis is, whether you have a good or bad outcome, but apparently not all outcomes are good.
Well, no, ayahuasca is used like the Church of Santo Daime, right? They literally summon entities, they summon spirits, they summon demons.
Whatever, yeah.
No, I mean, they summon all kinds of different spirits and entities. Wow. No, I unfortunately went to this thing. My brother said, "Oh, this will be healing, relaxing." I didn't know what it was. Some weird cult in the middle of the forest in Maryland, like this red barn. Yeah, just trapped. Wow. I thought they're human sacrificing this girl. You couldn't leave the room.
Wow.
And they would drag people back in. They had all these bouncer dudes, and people they're like, "Let them come on in." And I'm seeing these entities coming out. There's like this Eye of Sauron open up, and all these demonic entities are pouring out of it. And like one guy, he's an ex-con. I guess he wrote a book about it. He got possessed by a spirit of this Native American who was killed on the land, and he wanted to kill me. And I'm like in the bathroom. He's like, "I will kill you." He's talking in Navajo, and he was possessed by the spirit. Everybody was getting possessed, and multiple people involved with this either permanently have things attached to them, and I know 4 people who are permanently insane from that.
Wow.
Because of the energetics and the portholes. It's used in a lot of shamanistic stuff and all these other things. So it can be very dangerous, but it depends on the context and setting. But it's very much a spirit portal, ayahuasca. And you really need to know what you're doing. And I would not, that was...
Yeah, I don't recommend people using hypnosis or heavy drugs in any way, shape, or form. Salvia, there's a lot of danger here. There's a lot of risk. It's a lot of roll of the dice. I know people who've lost their minds.
I had a guest on my show whose left arm was possessed by a demon because of he was tripping on ayahuasca and harmine and like these other couple of things. And he was talking to it and it was responding to him, and he's learned to live with it. He was a guest on my show. Everybody should check it out. I should call him and have him on again. But Jerry Marzinski introduced me to him, and we all talked together. It was phenomenal. He will teach you about there are evil magicians that use the demons and the drugs to enslave people. I mean, and they rape on people. It's not like, it's really,
I'm not surprised. You should get me in touch with him. Don Henley says, cool show and topics. Thanks, Big. Good to see you. Welcome back. I'm back. Uncle Ted, great stream. Pure peace. Thanks for joining us. You guys made it to the end, guys. We're almost at 3 hours. I'm almost
sorry.
done. Let's see. Nice to get out of politics just to mess up my need to get away from it. Okay. Most of what you see on YouTube is paid boost. I'm not surprised. They all get handlers. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They put millions into YouTube. Yeah, they do. Huge offers. We are being mind-effed by the rogue aspect of the agencies and or military. Yeah, I think so for sure. There's absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of these techniques are used to perpetuate war, to perpetuate mind control, Yeah, people don't understand how ruthless these people are at the top. They do not give a crap. Don Henley, Trojan horses implemented. Be ready for false flag psyops guaranteed. A whole new era with AI in the mix. Wait until quantum computing. Yeah. No, we're entering into the digital Alice in Wonderland, guys. It's not a joke.
And there's that movie, right, about, I forget the name of it, but it's about this, all these like high tech moguls, and the whole world basically starts collapsing because they have all these deep fake movies, and then basically everyone's killing each other, and, governments are falling all over the world.
I want to see that movie, dude. What movie is that?
Yeah, Sera is a plural of serum.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, which I knew that.
That makes sense.
Uncle Ted, Courtney Love's dad, was a real supplier for LSD. Not surprised.
Right.
Copying behind, but love the show. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. MLMFAO, Hans and the mushrooms. Yeah, that's a whole nother show, Hans. You have to tell that story on the record. Quite unpleasant. Definitely got the chopped up feeling. Took a bunch of Dramamine pills. Let's see.
Okay.
Stick with regular acid. Mushroom.
We hang out.
Scopolamine.
Castaneda. You guys are trying to hey, shout me out. Okay, Lucian, shout it out. Hey. Going right. It's a pedocracy run by 3 intelligence. Well,
yeah, dude.
It's definitely a pedocracy. I don't know what else it is.
It's a cacistocracy. Yeah, it's a ruled by the worst for sure.
Okay, let's finish these 2 slides. Did we read the ethical responsibility?
Engage the topic. Okay, engage the topic. This session invites audience members to ask questions, share insights, and discuss the complexities surrounding psychological manipulation techniques, including the Alice in Wonderland technique and Ericksonian hypnosis as they relate to modern applications in mass psychology. But so this is that slideshow, whoever did this, but this picture is quite funny, right? I don't know what that is.
Why did they choose that? Like a bunch of people like shouting in like a cult environment or something.
It looks like a Christian rock concert.
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's what's really scary is like some of these Christian like mega churches use, I think, some of these techniques. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
With the music and the timing and everything. And I mean, one of the interesting things about this Kirk assassination that I've been watching, just observing, is like a lot of these Christian guys around Kirk are just freaking lying like dogs, like a rug. They're lying about everything, their heroics and what really happened and the background, and they're lying to their own advantage. And it's like, wow, you're just not even adherence to your own ideas. Like, wow, this is crazy. There's a lot of money at stake too, so it's
another day, right?
Another day,
right? Yeah, clown world.
Another grounds for some more filthy lucre. I mean, Charlie Kirk was rich, guys. He was super rich. He was worth like
multi-millionaire.
I know someone $1 million house, bro, in the nicest part of Phoenix, Arizona.
And I know someone who lives in Phoenix, right? And he also had like other holdings there too. I mean, this was the you're making the kind of money he was on paper. There's no way he could afford to live there. To be basically, like, there's a lot more
to the story.
And his boosted level was so boosted. Like, who's this guy? All of a sudden, he's even on South Park. Like, what?
I never even heard of him, man. I hate to say,
right?
I didn't know him very much, but now that I looked into it, because it's such an important event, you realize he was like Candace. Like, he was somebody. He was like a created celebrity, but for politics or something. And then he bucked his programming, and they didn't like it. Much like Candace. Apparently Candace says she's the #1 podcast in the world now. Like, that's crazy to think that she's actually supplanted Rogan or whatever. Okay,
well, she's talking about trannies running France. Like, I mean,
she's commented on my stuff. I think I showed that on social media. One of you guys.
Oh, that's great.
I have the #1 podcast in America.
I forgot you said that at the beginning of the show.
It should be the resident state.
That's right. It should be. Yes.
Okay.
The resident state people should check
in my storytelling, it is.
Well, we should hear about the Shiitake.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
So,
but I just want to.
William is closely on her heels, though. Like, William is in the top. What one?
William is the
I'm like somewhere in there. I don't know if this is really her, but this was on my Spotify.
I probably have like one of the least watched podcasts in America.
It's on the board.
It's telling me Christ is King.
Oh,
that's like from a couple months ago.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
That's before. I think
nice.
When was Kirk? Kirk was what, September 10th?
Yeah.
Right. It's about basically before Kirk got popped. So she's listening to that
she's
one.
listening because I hope she's listening to this series because holy crap.
Yeah,
nobody's talking about this stuff, William. Like, wow.
Nobody. Yeah.
But
guys, mention your shows before we wrap it up. Where can people find you?
The Resident State, Hans, where can they find you? Let's go.
You find me. Thank you, Sean. You can find that at YouTube. I'm on YouTube. I am on Rumble. I think I wasn't able to change my channel name, but it's there, Resident State, or you can put Eyes Wide Open, Hans Hutter Investigates. It's on Odyssey, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute also. BitChute, and then I'm on Spotify, and that's about it, man. And and so I appreciate it. I'm kind of obviously I'm just trying to get it started. So don't laugh it's like I got one
great
view.
Shows on all that Soviet cybernetics and OK music for the masses. Freaking
You're an old school voice, but you don't have your own show until now. So we're glad that you finally have a show, Hans.
Yeah. Well, I was kicking butt on Spreaker, and then they deleted me.
Right.
So but
PayPal too, right?
Yeah, PayPal twice.
Keep copies of all your work. Make sure
PayPal,
you keep all stuff, because I'm reposting stuff that I did from 2 years ago, like the Russ Disney thing from 2014.
Yeah. That's a long time. Yeah, wow.
But no, I mean PayPal though. I mean literally, like I had my account. They took it, and then I had to get another account. I'm doing this gig for this corporation. They said we'll pay you through PayPal, so I get another account, different email address. Account is permanently closed, and they just took the money. Straight up, first transaction, and it's just gone. And now the company can't get the money back from PayPal. And I'm like, I can't do anything. But that being said, no complaints. And I do want to say one thing though. At this time, it's very, very important to really, to have a strong center. Really to focus on the concritics of your daily life, I think having a good, very strong moral code, a code of virtue, of action, and really trying to be very, very clear and dialed in with the world around you as much as possible. You know what I mean? Without projection, because I feel that this kind of reality warping is going to start to affect there's like a psychic field, right? You go to India, time moves very slowly. You go around certain places. There is, as you and Cameron talked about, mental contagion, right? So I'm just saying that this, I think some of this is going to start to have warping effects just because of the field, the electromagnetic field of the consciousness. So anyways, God bless everyone. Thank you.
Well, they can listen to your show, and they can listen to us together with William and our friend Loomis in a couple weeks. We're going to be talking about the realities of the world in which we live, and people can find that on Wake the Dead. Wake the Dead is on all the same places where you can find the Resident State, Spotify and YouTube, and this is being broadcast on YouTube right now. And I'm glad to be able to do the lives because I've kind of fallen behind on my posting, and I apologize to the listeners. There's a couple of these actually that I have to still post on my own page, but I got a new job and I'm kind of rearranging my schedules, and life is kind of up in the air. And Hans is gracious enough to help me. I need to make a new intro, so like that's also slowing down my output. So like once I get everything lined up, it will be grooving again. And sorry, listeners, for being so slow. I'll get to it eventually, but life is happening, so I have to, you know what I mean? So, but God bless you. And yes, I also have a donate page, so please help as my life happen a little better. And likewise for Hans and for William too. We all could use a little help if you have the ability to do so.
One of the biggest helps is to share, guys. If you have social media or anything, share these shows. If you like them, if you feel they're worth your while or could be worthwhile to somebody else, do us a favor. Nobody here has an ad budget. So go ahead and share it, and talk to your friends about it. This is really good information for you and for your psychic well-being, just like Hans said, just like your mental well-being. Like some of these people are using dark persuasive techniques against you, businesses, corporations, politicians, stuff that probably if you knew this information, you'd be inoculated from falling for, whether it's the dumb war in Ukraine or, I mean, there's so many things, COVID shot. I mean, we really are kind of victims to a lot of this to some extent, on some level of the spectrum, either to a greater extent or lesser extent, or the fact that other people are victims in your family who just believe everything they watch on the flashing mind control box or something like that. Like somebody listens to this stuff, they'll be like watching Fox News or CNN or something like that with a little bit more critical analytical techniques or in their mind, and then maybe this isn't worth my time. So share the show, help each other out. We're just nodes on a decentralized system, and they're making a move on the corporate media now. There's just tons of, they're actually going to discredit themselves. They're such jokers for spending all this money. Nobody's going to listen to some of these jokers, but the alternate media kind of is the kind of the last refuge of freedom and liberty. Honestly, it's that serious. So if you have a few extra shekels or pay for somebody's coffee or something like that.
Yeah, we need to find your website, William, because that's where the clarity is found, right? WilliamRamseyInvestigates.com. We need to mention that before this is over, please. Tell us.
And I just also want to say thank you, William, for putting together this really, really enjoyable and extremely informative deep dive into these topics, because just one thing, throw out there, like, one of the sort of dangers of the alternative media or anything else is that you get a single word. Oh, he's using NLP. Do you even know what NLP is? No, you don't. Or mass formation psychosis. What is that? It's somebody's using it. You get a little thumbnail definition. You think you understand it. You don't. These are very complex and dense topics. And if a group like the FBI with almost unlimited resources said it may take 20 years to study, it may behoove one to go deeper into these topics, right? It's not like, oh, I understand they're doing mind. No, your mind, what does that even, you know what I mean? There's so many different layers. And I think as we unpack this, I think we're going to come to, tearing the veil a little bit of all these things. Cause no matter how advanced the techniques are, they're all based on these basic structural points
It's true. And the thing is like, you're not going to see a guy like, Hoover in the same vein again, like in time. You just won't see him because he's involved in everything, assassinations and so many sketchy operations and things like that, all the way up. He was like really a much more powerful person than maybe he's on par with the president just because of his long lasting involvement in the government. So these things are all going to unfold. He's there be like MLK, Malcolm X, JFK, RFK. He hated Robert F. Kennedy. It was personal. So what you're going to see is going to make perfect sense if we can get there. We made it through 100 pages so far, but I think that the kind of riffing and stuff like that contextualizes this so people can kind of understand how rooted this is in our consciousness, but that some of the stuff isn't, but there's also stuff people can grasp onto. But like we're literally, these mind control techniques could come all the way up to like modern day people who are doing mass shootings. I think for sure that guy who was Aurora shooter, Holmes, and Mangione's very strange, and Ruth is very strange, but it goes all the way back to the early 30s. So thanks everybody. Thanks for listening. Really appreciate it. Made it 3 hours, guys. 250 listeners, live listeners. So that's like a lot. Like I had a lot for Riley Strain, like I had a lot of listeners for that, but this is a lot of listeners. Anyway, anything you guys want to add to finish it up?
Thank you, listeners. We appreciate you listening live. It's great. We don't advertise this stuff. We just click the button. So
the comments are great too. They really add to the whole discussion too. So I'm thankful for everybody for commenting and stuff like that, but please share the show. Hans, anything you'd like to add?
No, I just appreciate everybody listening. And, as we wind down the American Empire with the great orange baboon at this helm of state. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Very much
he didn't follow any of his campaign promises, dude.
No,
anything. Stop the war.
He did
He went back to
campaign with the
Warlow.
Israeli flag behind him, though, so that was kind of one of his promises, wasn't it?
So I guess he kept that up, right?
Yeah, he did do that. Yeah,
He likes pushing in the chair for Netanyahu and Miriam
right.
Allison,
Yeah,
like a good little red-haired butler.
You even stretch, bro. Oh, you're so good.
You're never gonna let that down. I watched that scene 3 times.
All right, guys.
That's what
Peace.
Trump was
Okay.
doing.
Thanks, everybody.
Anyway,
Share the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thanks
All
for all
right.
the nice comments, too.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Thanks, William.